right now at the highs, 30-year back to 4, almost 5 at this point this morning. So a huge move up across the board after that CPI data this morning comes in. Hotter than expected. Frank Caberna is also coming up this afternoon. Lots to discuss with Frank on what this means as far as where inflation is and what they're going to have to do here. If you missed it this morning, again, right away, Fed Fund futures, the CME Fed Funds tool, pricing out, maybe even a June cut at this point, pushing it further down the road. So as we've been discussing with Frank, it doesn't leave a lot of time left in the overall year for the Fed to get to where they thought they would be. That's 50,000 up there on Bitcoin. We are trying to make our way back higher currently, but pretty ugly move down on that CPI number this morning for BTC. So crypto names under pressure on the stock side of things as well. 17.5% for ARM back to the downside. We bounced off 120 there, trying to hold underneath 125 right now. This thing was 160 at the highs yesterday. A glowing red board to have a look at. Not much in the way of strength. Eli Lilly, there's Disney green as well. Some of the energy names in here green on the day also, but for the most part, yeah. Downside, we go in a pretty good way here, right across the entire spectrum of the market, including banks taking the brunt of it today, really. Blackstone, it looks like that is 4.5%, the worst off. JP Morgan, Berkshire, BAC, to name a few here, a better part of 3% to the downside. So banks getting hit pretty hard, tech getting hit pretty hard, Microsoft 2%, Salesforce more than 2% there, Oracle almost 1.8 at this point as well. It's getting a little bit ugly. As I was mentioning, some crypto names getting hit as well, but I just noticed Coinbase trying to hold 142.5 as we came back on there at 2 o'clock. Again, if you missed it this morning, this number comes out hotter than expected. The core inflation up 0.4% versus a 0.3 uptick that was expected core year over year. 3.9 versus 3.7 on that number. The headline number comes in 3.1 versus, we're expecting a 2 handle on that number. 2.9% was expected, comes in 3.1. There is the overall market trying to test those morning lows as we get going. Let's talk a little about what we were dealing with this morning. Everything changed as soon as that 830 number hit this morning. There were a few names individually on the downside as well coming off earnings. Shopify was one, guys, top of the list this morning.
Guess what? The shorts are finally starting to work, so we can pay for the air conditioning in here.
The shorts are very much working.
Right, just on time. We've been sweating it out on this trading floor because sometimes it gets too hot out here. The market was super hot. Forget about the percentage down doesn't tell the story for the overall market, because really at 8:30, we made a bottom off of that 830 tank on just about everything. It doesn't matter what you were looking at, more or less. You made bottoms and then just started ripping faces off. Shopify, I didn't have a trade in it because we're looking at other things at the open, and it's down 13%, 12.5%. It's SSR. The only saving grace for Shopify is it's making some kind of a bottom off the 50-period moving average. But once again, on earnings, if it's even the slightest sense of weakness in a company that isn't making a ton, you're gonna run into these troubles. Whether you're concerned about the consumer or whether you're concerned about the guidance, either way, you're holding on by a hair here. So the bottom could be a double bottom at 77. I shouldn't be calling it a double bottom until it actually gets down there to 77 because it's down 10%. That does give it maybe an afternoon trade. It'll be SSR, so maybe we get a 77 look and a bounce. It just cracked 78 to the downside. But I didn't trade Shopify. Didn't really have too big of a plan unless it gave me that 77 fill a little bit later on in the morning and not at 9:30 and 5 seconds.
Oh, man. So, yeah, we're $4 in the money on NVIDIA, but I had a much bigger trade. Look at this TQQ trade. This is a good one. Straight down. We shorted this top. This is right. And the thing is, if you're not watching us for for the morning show, then you definitely missed like this trade. This was 10:45. You know, like we turned the bear around yesterday, let alone today. But yeah, there it goes. Nice downside move here for the TQs. We're covering a little bit now. As we get right back into, what's up, Neil? As we get right back into
Randy.
the 56.35, some of these day lows from the pre-market. I mean, this is before we started to jump up there at about 10:30. But there we go, man. Nice move up. There's the move down on the PPI. And here we go, man. TQQs right back down. I like this trade. Let's see what we can do with it. It's the TQs. It's still going north side. You're now down 6%, and we got it.
Squeezing. And then, like, when it unwinds, crazy. I'll just show me. Yeah, you got Randy in here.
Back to the desk?
He's looking at these. He's looking at these charts, these pullbacks. Like ARM is down 18%. We're talking about Micron down 5%. Let's go back to the desk. Everything is at the low.
Randy amazed.
Wait a minute. Not everything is at the low. Eli Lilly, baby. I just felt like saying it. Eli Lilly's at the high because that's how Eli Lilly rolls.
We're $4 in the money.
Yeah, it was like one of two on the board there that wasn't red as far as the S&P is concerned. I can't tell with Randy anymore if it's like a graphic or if it's actually him sitting on Neil's shoulder on those shots. 4.5% to the downside. That's, yeah, well off the lows here for Datadog, another one that came through this morning with their earnings report, another one that came through this morning with a forecast that disappointed.
Yeah, bang on there, Brendo. The street was looking for $1.38 to $1.44 a share in profitability. Sorry, that's what they're guiding. The street was looking for $1.77. So despite the fact they beat on the top and bottom line, you see the sell-off there.
Yeah, it's been a slow and steady grind, I guess, all day here. If you're looking short at the open, that was a tough one today.
All right, Fabian, I'm ready.
So look, Datadog, this one had already made the big move by the time we even got to the open. So like there was something available on Shopify, but unless you were, I don't care, I'm just going long 125 on Datadog. I don't know what your plan of action would have been. And then once it got to the top, like it went green on the day. Like good luck. If you just simply said, hey, if it goes green and gets to yesterday's highs, maybe you short that. I don't know. I had no plan of action for this thing. I don't have a plan of action in the afternoon. What I will say is I'll keep my eyes on, as a post-earnings play, I'll keep my eyes on the 50-period moving average because before this and that crazy wick to the downside at 110, it was holding that. So after earnings, if it starts to hold that, maybe we can trade off of 124 when this thing calms itself down. But I think you don't always have to trade something if it doesn't set up perfectly. This absolutely did not. So unless we hold 124 in the next couple of days, I don't think I'll be trading Datadog. But observe the pattern. Huge move down, and again, the forecast was the problem, but immediately recovering, holding well above the 50-period on the daily. You can see it as clear as day that has been support since it broke out in November. So, watch out for that level in the next couple of days when Datadog settles down. We like those day 2 and day 3 type plays, and I think that's what you should be looking for in Datadog. At least that's what I would be looking for.
$5 in the money. Well, we don't even have NVIDIA. Well, we have SME as a trade. Like, I'm upset here because, like, everything's fine. We were making money here. Like, right here, we didn't have that. We only had 300 shares. It's not like, it's like, it's an upper size just for this kind of a trade. But, like, I was only short here like 726.50, 727. And then we just got stopped out there at 728 and created the high. And then I was just like, okay, it wasn't that big of a deal. This is why I tell you about hindsight trading. Like if it just kept going up, I'd be like, okay, fine, it kept going up, but then this happened. So that sucked. And then on Amazon, this happened where we got stopped out. We had broke the 200 period at that time. And that was at 169.60, and then this happened. So the day we're having now, it's fine. We got Palantir up here. We did get stopped out a little bit, but then this is fine. Palantir is fine. And now NVIDIA is $5 in the money. Debating getting some out at VWAP, but I've got I'm seeing red today. So we're going to wait to see if NVIDIA gets down into here into 716, 714. Look, I didn't look at Datadog earlier. I'm not going to look at it now. Earnings, day 2 plays, we'll have a look then. We really did well on Snapchat. the first day and the second day and the third day. We'll look at Datadog the next couple days. Let me just look at Cloudflare because this is another one of those names that, again, we talked about this earlier. If Datadog was going to disappoint this morning, Cloudflare down 5%, actually up a little bit from where we were in the open. I feel like a lot of these stocks are going to sort of rebalance themselves, not for a better word here. Nice move down after earnings. I still want to buy cybersecurity names on pullbacks. PanW, it didn't get to three. Did it?
It was like just a wick.
Stupid BS wick. Okay,
BS
so I was gonna say that.
No, that wasn't.
Yeah, like I want to, and now after seeing this and thinking the market's gonna go lower, I really feel like I want to, because I've been raising some capital, and it's not like I need stocks to drop all the way down to get interested. So PanW anywhere around 350 is a trade for me, but that's for a later time. Right now, as I deal with Palantir, which is starting to go back in. The TQQs, by the way, we're still short this, very small shares. And then NVIDIA. So we're 3 names short. Oh, let's go. Stay away, says Jay Lee from PanW. Yeah, I know they have, I know they do have a huge PE. They all do.
Well,
I'm just trying to buy the best names.
Well, they said that about Amazon
Still
for
mad about
years and years and years,
NVIDIA.
right? Like Amazon was never had a realistic PE. The question I would ask for PanW was, do I want to own that stock when I turn 35, because I'm 25 now.
Right.
So, and the answer to that is yes, I want to own it in 10 years. So I'm dollar cost averaging into that thing. I'm buying it on the 50 and the 200 period moving averages when it gets there, and until I have what I deem as a full position on it, because I don't, then I'm a buyer on dips. So, or you just buy every quarter or something like that.
I'm going to do Brennan style of trading now.
Never hold.
No, never
Sorry,
sell.
Yeah,
Opposite, but that is what you meant.
Literally the opposite of what I just never hold.
Yeah, never hold.
Let's
Always
get to
buy it and then immediately you get filled to sell it immediately. And if you make like 2 or 3 pennies, you just hope that you cover the fee.
Oh goodness.
Brendan Wickens.
Talk about like the worst. That would be the worst strategy ever.
Style of investing.
Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, nice. Nicole Harris. Yeah, I saw that on Yeezy.com. He has those crazy boots and shoes that he has for $20, and then he has all the vulture stuff for $20. Good pick up there, Nicole Harris. All right, back over to the desk.
I heard my name, but I don't want to know. It's fine. Yeah, Bitcoin. Back below, I put 50,000 on the board, but it was more like a, what about 50,000? Because those were good times. For a couple of days up here, that was 50. We bounced off 48.5 back to 49 and change today after, look at the volume that came in on the downside there this morning after that CPI number for crypto as well.
Yeah, it's been an aggressive week of inflows into Bitcoin, Brendo. About $1.1 billion worth of inflows coming into the ETFs here in the last week. Since the ETF's inception, since they were approved, about $2.8 billion coming into those ETFs. A lot of things being credited for this move. One of them is China's adoption of more relaxed monetary policy, so more money coming out of there. We'll have to see how it does.
Don't look now. Day low is coming here, guys, for the market pretty quick.
Market is flushing.
Let's go.
You can't
Get the
say
hell down quicker.
You can't say that about Bitcoin. Bitcoin made a huge reversal. Why wasn't I looking at this stupid thing? We talked about these technical wick levels yesterday, and then when there was a long off the bottom, I wasn't looking at that one.
$6.
But anyways, you are bouncing to the upside here. So as long as it holds higher lows, there is one play that was temporarily long, and it was going to be Mara. Mara this morning, 26 short. It never broke the trend until like late in the day, that 26, it was about a 120. I was in the 26 short and the 26 long, but that couldn't hold on. Like it went about 30 pennies and that's it. Now can it hold VWAP is the only question. Right now it's more about the shorts that are printing. We'll get to, on PayPal is when I'll have an opportunity to talk about Square. And I'm in Micron short in lieu of some other chip names, and I'll show you guys exactly why when we talk about the chip, but the short's starting to pay off here. This was a simple question of it was weak. It never violated our level, so we managed to short it. And then when I shorted a lower high, just get out of dodge and then don't fight it. Because if I get in here and then try to hold that into the top, that's how you get back those profits. But now Mara is back to VWAP.
We're $7. Like every day we have something on board, it seems like, and then it's like, okay. I don't know what that means, but okay, we're going to see about this NVIDIA. Like, I'm just getting frustrated a bit because we got some out at the 50 period, then basically some out at VWAP here at 720. And then now I was waiting for this bottom. But, you know, to be this much in the money is probably worth taking because there's a freaking pop back up. So, I was like so thinking about just marketing out of this underneath 717 there. Hope we didn't miss it. I'm bidding 717.70 now. See if we could take 7 on this. And then Palantir. Well, I'll take some more out. Let's take something out here if we can at 21s. Because, you know, it's got to do something for me, right, Adaria? 21. All right, so there it is right there, 24.20. We'll take it. I just punched out some at 22 there. All right, let's get to the downside. As Brendan said, it's 2% down. I mean, Patrick's right here at lunchtime. I told him, and what time was that? That was probably 12:30, 12, maybe a little bit earlier than that. I said the market's still going down, and we could be down 3% by the time this day is done. So let's go. Let's see that. Whatever. I'm short. I'm short NVIDIA right now at 724. We're short Palantir up here. We just covered a little bit. I don't know. I mean, that might be a little bit too dramatic to be down 3%. But the thing is like, we have the short in the queues. We just should have kept all of it, hindsight. But like, see, this is what I mean. See this break? Like you break 17. We already mentioned this as a top. I mean, we mentioned it so much that we're short. And then right there, if we break this, then you're going down 3%. Like you're going to go down to 17.5 would be my guess. And we're about to break it right now. So I'm going to sit there. I will take that NVIDIA out, not all of it. Hopefully we can get this at 717.75, which we're now, I guess, 80 cents away from that. The spread can open up and fill me down there. So let's see if that happens. I know we're getting a little bit greedy here, and at some points it's getting to be too much. But like we took a piece out right there on the futures, right into what was pretty much the low of the day. Now we're right at the low of the day. Come on, NVIDIA, man. You're right here. What am I bidding on NVIDIA again? 75s. So it's just at O's right now. So whatever, man. I'm going to take this out if I can get something at 118. That's crazy that it just held that. So here it is. We're bidding 718.12, which just held me. You saw that. So we'll wait to see if it flushes back down. But BTC, man, great trading today, obviously, and celebrate that, man. I mean, BTC holding up really well. It's reminding me of Disney and Alibaba, my two most recent purchases.
Speaking of that, just before we go back to the desk, my quote board right now, here's what's, and this is just the stocks that I watch on a daily basis. The only things that are green are Eli Lilly, Disney, oil futures, UVXY, but that's actually bearish, the fact that it's up, because that's volatility. That's it, and that's 0.1, 0.3, and oil's up 1.5. Like, nat gas ain't even up? Like, come on, give me. Come on,
nat gas.
So that's, again, just to give you an idea of how red things are looking right now. But let's go back to the desk and talk about the semis. Oh, my arm.
Yeah, holding up surprisingly well here. NVIDIA is anyways down just 0.5% overall. The NASDAQ, as we saw, pushing 2+. Even though, yeah, sorry, Sean. 730 was a bit of a problem. 0.3 now, still holding up nicely here for NVIDIA this morning.
Yeah, definitely doing the best out of the Mag 7, no question about that. Earlier today, we had Mizuho analyst Vijay Rakesh raising the price target for both AMD and NVIDIA. NVIDIA to the tune of 920 and AMD to the tune of 200, liking them both to the upside. We'll have to see how they do, but yeah, it's been a tough day trading today.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were just saying, like, the market really needs this as far as a pullback is concerned, but chips still aren't even participating at this point.
So as we bounce, I have a trail out that's probably going to get hit in this bounce play. I'm in Micron, and the answer to why is very similar to what I was talking about this morning, where you got the reversal in the market, and this was trending up. There's higher lows. It tries to break, pre-market levels, doesn't get back into the high, and then once it shows me underneath VWAP again, okay, participate in the trend in the other direction. Like, try not to fight it. See some confirmation short. Once it holds under, first hold under VWAP, break down, bounce up, fail under VWAP, short it. That's like the VWAP play in the afternoon, but I'm trailing it out to the pre-market bottom. So at 8:30 we had the economic number. I'm going to respect the reversal lows here today because the NASDAQ is bouncing off the bottom, so I will be out of this one in Micron. The only other name that I traded in the chip space, Intel, was long off VWAP a couple of times in, held some, got in again off of VWAP. It did work, and then I played it underneath. This is where I flipped to Micron short because, like, why am I going long here? If anything, I could have shorted either one, but like short under VWAP is the way to go. But I went over to Micron instead. It required a lot of patience today, not gonna lie. And then I'll give you the stock that you learn. The market is going to try to tell you something every single day, every day. And so everything I was talking about, where if it's trending to the upside, don't try to short it, short the things that are showing you weakness. Well, I was shorting AMD when it was showing strength. So that's why it ended up being a loser this morning. Managed to keep it to a relatively not bad loss relative to what you can win. But when it's making higher lows, especially in the first 30 minutes, there's no need to go back to it more than once or twice or 3 times. So that was a mistake for me on NVIDIA. And that's to me, it's almost like should be a rule. If you are making higher lows in the first, clearly higher lows in the first 15, 30 minutes, then you don't want to be shorting on the way up. If it's giving you the same resistance level over and over again, then you're shorting in front of a resistance level. That's one thing. But if you're shorting higher and higher as it's going up, that usually doesn't work out early in the day.
All right, well, I already went over NVIDIA, and I put my bid at 718, and it went down to there and stopped. So, and now it's just gone up $3 more. I have an eyelash in my eye. I'm going to reload this thing up and around 724, and then give it to 725. Small little stop. Let's see what NVIDIA has to do, man. I mean, it is what it is. We already mentioned before that this wasn't. I know Sharif mentioned this as well, and I mean, you can see our trades. It's been a tough day, needless to say, here as I got an eyelash stuck in my right here. It's the problem with these long eyelashes, you know. My wife says it's a blessing, but I say it's a curse. All right, back over to the desk.
Was the final one on the list this morning. Downside in a pretty good way in the pre-market on a downgrade, 3.2%. This is as flat as you're going to see a stock probably today, but what is that? Better part of a 50, 60, 75 cent channel there, just back and forth all day long.
Yeah, a couple of comments on this name earlier, Brendo. Daiwa Capital's Kazuya Nimishura downgrading PayPal from outperform to neutral, lowering the price target to 62 from 64. Not a big drop there. Macquarie maintaining maintaining PayPal with an outperforming a target of 75. So some conflicting reports there, Brendo.
Yeah, it wasn't much to do at the end of the day, guys, for this one.
Pivoted immediately to Block instead of PayPal because I thought there was something going on with Block that you can see on the daily chart. Like, here's the 50 period. It's clear resistance. It just rejected it. So when we had the negative number, like, you're selling underneath that, or somebody's selling underneath that level constantly. It doesn't matter who. It's just a matter of the fact that it's happening. And so this one popped up and couldn't get past its lower high after the earnings, not the earnings number, after the CPI number. So I like that short the pop. When it reloaded in front of VWAP, that was a lower high that held. When it broke higher, I got away from it and then waited till it got underneath VWAP again and then shorted it under VWAP, which I'm sitting in. I'm going to trail this one as well, like Micron. But it just goes, like, the difference between a relatively weak stock and a relatively strong stock, it matters. It's not always easy to determine early in the day because if you can be observing a trend on a 15-minute or a daily chart, let's just say, and underneath a certain price, you still like the short at 930, and I could make the example of AMD where I lost. You can still like it, but it's upward trending, and you have to find a way to be more patient with it. But when you find something that's relatively weak, try to stick to that. So I made the most re-entries on Square because it was working. If we break the 65 level, I want to hold on to this, down 5%. Despite the fact crypto's up, it's down. Sometimes Square gets a bump from crypto, and this did not bounce. So I like that about what's going on here with Block. I mean, I like it for the short. In the long term, I don't like any of that happening with Square.
So, yeah, we knew we wanted to trade PayPal today, but unfortunately it just never got there, and we should have kept looking at it. This 58.70, you know, again, like, short the pops, you know, on names that you're going to be red on, and or that the market's going to be red on. And I mean, today we had PayPal right on here. We had Affirm, PayPal. These are all shorts. ARM, not Affirm, sorry. ARM, Apple, Intel, PayPal, Amazon. So just so you guys know, we wrote this before CPI. Every single idea on here is a short. So, I mean, yeah, we were thinking this today in the market. We were thinking short, and that's why. I mean, whatever. You could see the damage here on the market. I'm just still, NVIDIA's got me shook. Okay, but that's fine. Palantir, we just got some more out here as well. But yeah, that PayPal. Glad we were on it, obviously. Unfortunately, we didn't have any executions, but I mean, this move is not surprising me at all today. If it's surprising you, then, you know, that's fine. But this is the way I thought today. I mean, almost regardless of CPI, you know, it's almost like the same opinion that I have on NVIDIA, regardless of what number they come out with. I don't see it. Like, what kind of number does NVIDIA have to print on the 21st for this stock to go up? You know, like, what is exactly baked into this? I'm not sure we know exactly what's baked into this. So let's just see what does happen right now with this market. But needless to say, we were bearish yesterday, and today it's payday. And a big shout out to my guy, Michael Noss, who, again, yesterday, if you're going to watch the market recap, first of all, if you're not watching the market recap show, you can definitely get it on a podcast. We do throw that through, again, every single night. So check it out. It's really helped me understand levels and get some of these ideas through, because honestly, man, like, this is, I'm much more comfortable now coming in every morning, putting in the work, giving these ideas. Like, that's why every single thing on here is a short, is just the feels of the market. And that was pre CPI, right? And so, okay, anyways, here it comes back in. Now we're still bidding that 718.12. Let's see if it goes. Is Microsoft going to see? This is what I'm saying. You just said Microsoft. Someone in the chat there. What's up, Rob? I think it was. What up, Rob EV? Yeah. I mean, this is what happened early. We said Microsoft, like, what happens when Microsoft tanks? People going to buy it up? Well, that's exactly what happened right now. But are they going to continue to do that? I thought Randy was over there holding an ice cream, but he's holding a piece of chicken.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I thought it was ice cream too.
Okay, so anyways, thanks, Brendo, for that little rundown there. We are going to get, I feel like Frank is still scheduled. Yep, so.
I feel like Frank's not going to be able to rally this one today.
No,
I'm throwing it out there. I don't.
Yeah, the idea would be that Frank can come and sort of set us straight here with what this CPI move is all about. But, you know, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with this move down, needless to say.
Okay, yeah, good shot there. We mentioned a lot of things. We should go over the ARM chart just because I know a lot of people are looking at this one. ARM's down 19%, but if you've been watching it the last couple of days, that's sort of normal for ARM the last couple of days to do that kind of a move. But it has been all to the downside. Remember, when a squeeze name, and that's what this is, when a squeeze name starts to head back in, it does so violently. Now, there hasn't really been a great VWAP test in the afternoon, but I would tend to think if you get something in there, maybe you can get like 128's VWAP, but maybe you're looking at the 130 level, because I feel like you got to give it a little bit of extra space. So like this, that's a stock that if it gets to VWAP, I'm not shorting VWAP. Like, you're looking for the over, like, you see what it does here? Like, you're the over VWAP, and then it turns, over VWAP, and then it turns. I think that's what I would want. But the trails are in. If I'm going to go long something this afternoon, it's got to, I need to really like the level. At this point, maybe Rivian 15 would be something that could be a long. That's managed to hold up. I mean, okay, it's held the 15 level. It hasn't held up. It's down 6%. But it's held the 15 level, which has been really good support for this stock. If you look at the 15-minute, you pull up the daily chart, like, that's the kind of thing. If I can get a bounce there where you're risking a few pennies off a big even dollar level like that on Rivian, probably take a shot there. But everything else, you know, short the pops. It's bad, LOL. Everyone is shorting. When do we squeeze?
Exactly.
Isn't that what we did the last couple of days, though? I feel like
last couple of days, the NASDAQ is up 14 of the last 15 weeks. I know.
I'm talking more. I'm more. Like, I mean, like ARM.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean ARM.
I mean, we took a $23 short winner yesterday.
Yeah. That's just those were squeezing.
I'm not expecting that. You know. Yeah. So as I was saying, I mean, just, you know, the NASDAQ is up 14 of 15 weeks, which hasn't happened in over 50 years. And that's what we're doing right now. And the S&P 500 is over 50% higher than its average level on the PE ratio right now, over 33. on the S&P 500 when it should be in and around 20 there. So it's monstrous, and that's the PE of the S&P 500. Here's ARM. I should be looking more. I'm just like, I mean, it needs to crack, obviously, before I get out. So we're just going to wait for that. And if it reloads, like, I might have nothing else. Palantir, that's fine. We're pretty light on that. Now we have about, like, honestly, we have about, like, maybe 15% of what we had. But we held this one, which is pretty good, all the way down here, because I was mad about other trades, right? And I mean, one of them here, we didn't have too many shares on Amazon. Amazon's fine. But we did get stopped out at the high before this flush. The same thing happened to us on NVIDIA. So I feel like I got to be a little more patient with what we're doing and let's just look for some more names, man. Yeah, people say, what's happening? What do you mean by Frank? Well, IG.com is a sponsor of our show, and Frank will come on, Frank Caberna from IG, and talk. Just people like guys wondering what we're talking about. He'll talk about interest rates and some of the monetary policies and more macro level fixed income type of stuff. So he'll be on in about 15 minutes to hear more about that. Okay, so Ford was yesterday. I just wanted to see, okay, yeah, so nice pullback today on Ford. We were talking about that yesterday, up near 13, but there's Ford with a nice pullback in. Where did Rivian settle down today? Rivian 15 and change still. Okay, so oh man, I'm still like, damn you, NVIDIA, damn you. Like, we couldn't just get that fill there. It stops on us on 718. Okay, let's go back over to the desk.
The rundown, as always, in the afternoon, brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. Real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by everyone you see on the show. See what's moving in the moment. Get 20% off your copy of Trade Ideas. Bottom right corner, use that QR code. Or use tradertv.live promo code for Trade Ideas, guys.
I'll use, I mean, I'm going to show you the cues in a quick second on Trade Ideas because I want to pull up the weekly chart to show you where we could be headed. But I'm going to get out. I said I'd trail this one. If we double bottom on the NASDAQ, that's square. So there's a double bottom on the NASDAQ. There's the double bottom on square. So trail it out to the local bottom. If we get back to VWAP, whatever, then I'm going to look to get into this one again. Like, I would like to play this off of VWAP. Don't know why I have two orders there. Let's just leave the one in the 70s, and we'll try and rinse and repeat that trade here on Square. But what I wanted to show is when we're talking about if everyone is thinking, sure, are we going to squeeze? Well, this is the weekly chart of the cues that Sean was mentioning. If you pull back, like the last pullback we had, which took months, the equivalent of that would be all the way down to 400. That's another 27 bucks from here. So we've really dropped in the bucket, pulled back in the market. Not really much of anything. And you'll be going back in that previous high where there was support before at that 400 level. So like, this is when we say things like, or I'll speak for myself, I know you already said it, so I can probably speak for you. When we say we want to buy some PanW here, or I'm buying this stock on a dip, maybe it's Google, whatever it might be, it's just if we continue that trend to the upside, you get a reasonable pullback, and then that's a decent buying opportunity, and that has held, especially if you're going at it in the long term. So I'm hanging on to Micron. Probably should have just jumped into Mara off of VWAP. Might get a second chance at this as Mara bounced clean here off VWAP. 25.40. If it comes back in front of 25.30, I'll try to grab some 50s.
All right, just real quick here, NVIDIA's starting to get real spicy right now, but this is kind of to plan. I mean, this is the 50-period moving average. All right, so I want to be short the market here until we break. This is where we got that mixed signal on NVIDIA and Amazon and got stopped out when we barely broke it. But it doesn't matter. That's, so now we're going to fade it again. So you're going to see my price continuously changing here on NVIDIA because we just get to the upside. And honestly, if we break above 725, that's enough pain. And we're not even, like, right now we're flat on the trade. You've seen us take money on this. I mean, it's too bad that we didn't get the ultimate, but that was 350 right there. And here we go. So, all right, if the market wants to take 725, then that will be that, 725. But I've gotten stopped out before and then, like, punched back into the short. I don't want to do that with NVIDIA, honestly. So, like, if this stops us out, it stops us out. We had a good run on it, made it back down. It looks like we'll lose this $1.25 possibly here. Here, look how aggressive this thing is going up. So, you know, if the market fails at this level, great, but it doesn't look like it wants to. As there, it goes right back up. And I was speaking with some of the guys in the algo room earlier, and it was just like, I'm just like, man, you know, trading in the middle of the day is where you're going to get a lot of your stops run, you know, because there's going to be a lot of traders and the market especially that's like uncertain of really what it wants to do. So you are going to get a couple stops run in that situation, and that's unfortunate.
My theory on that is in the middle of the day, you have more established price levels, which will seem like you can more clearly see support and resistance.
Yeah.
So if somebody is going to run a stop, it's easier for them to be able to see, well, if I take it past, I'm talking about big algos and big institutions. If I take it past this level, a bunch of people are going to get out here. That's what makes it tricky. But if you catch something which, say, breaks a high, I'm going to use an example because I'm about to get trailed out of Micron, so I wanted to show, like if Micron gets back anywhere in here, I'm probably going to short it. But like this broke the opening range high. If you were short off the opening range top, kind of breaks the stops in here, and then that's exactly when it starts working the best.
Boom.
Like right after it breaks the tops. That's exactly when it starts working the best. But I think we can still head back into the downside off this move. So I'm on the offer. I'm going to get on the offer of Amazon into VWAP. I saw this one. I like the VWAP retrace, 169 VWAP. I'm going to work into the Amazonian.
Come on. Oh, yeah. I like Amazon too. I did get stopped out of that one earlier. So there it is, man. I mean, we could just go awesome for now. I mean, that reload was fine. You see what I'm saying? Like, there we go. We just got 723 flat, and it tanked into I didn't have a bid there. It tanked to 722.50. So those reloads are fine. I mean, our biggest one was at the 200 period. That's the one thing that I make mistakes on, is getting into trades a little bit too early against a position that, against a level, sorry, that you think could hold. But again, you know, sans that crystal ball, sometimes you are taking positions possibly a little bit too early, hoping, and I hate that word, but really that's what I'm doing, hoping that one of these levels eventually holds. We've already marked down 725. So right now we're short at 724, basically, 723.70. It was just 70 cents in the money, and I didn't take it. So I'm thinking lower. If you guys want this trade, we just talked about shorting it at the 200. There's 70 cents. There's $1 for you right now if you want that. Dance yourself away right there, NVIDIA, because you just made yourself a $1 club member one more time. I'll put a bid here and then see if it goes down even further than this. We're at 60, so I'm hiding under here at 60, 722.60. Let's see if it bounces off our level again. Go. You need it to, there it goes, thank you. I was gonna say it needs to swipe. If we don't swipe, then you don't swipe or no swiping. But the thing is, whoever laughed, oh, Patrick laughed.
Patrick
okay, good.
knows.
He knows. But there it is to the downside right now. Brendan does not know. There it is, nicely down to the downside. 7, right, Brendan?
I think he does.
Brendan, swipe or no swiping? He looked at me crazier than he normally does.
It's a good thing I don't back, because if I would have maybe bet something on that.
You would have?
I thought so.
You thought he would have known?
Dora the Explorer?
That was
Dora
easy.
the Explorer? Oh, I mean,
could have
come
made money
on.
again
I
there.
don't know, man. Dora the Explorer.
Dude, that was so.
You mean
next
Dora?
time I'm gonna ask you before I ask him, because that was free money. Of course
Really?
he does. Of course he doesn't know Dora the Explorer, man.
I'm trying to give. I'm just trying to give him
See,
credit.
he said
there.
just still has no idea who it is, even after we mention it. Come on, man. I know this man, and we do the podcast.
No, it's fair.
I
No,
know.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that one's enough. I think that's enough pop culture that maybe you would get it. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. So the new position for me is in Amazon. I got out of Micron on this consolidation break off the bottom because it was holding the low. I've done this before. If I make this stop out and it holds this range, I can always jump back in. But Amazon's the new position for me. And then because everyone was screaming about SMCI 800. Okay, like really? The stock is at $800 today, as bearish as the market is. So when we get asked, we're just talking about squeezes. I should have used these guys as an example. We said ARM, we said some other thing, but this one, these guys are the example. 11% short float. I know they blew out earnings and all that good stuff, but you can't tell me that, you know, the market doesn't have to be rational, but come on. Maybe it breaks 800 today. I'd rather not short a super strong stock like this because SMCI likes to rip faces off. So congratulations if you're long. I don't think I'll be buying up here. SMCI, you gotta be careful.
All right. look, we've taken enough profit now on the downside. Like that was a 724.25. I mean, I'm in it right now. 724.25 was that fill. Obviously, we have an average price. We just took it out at 722.50. Sounds like $1.80. So if this goes back up, you already know where our stop is at, man. 725. So just letting everybody know that, so that if it does get stopped out, that's it. So. All right, Palantir's not doing anything. Let's just try to find. I'm trying to wait for something to happen here on other names. Like if the market's just going to go up, then I have to be patient because I'm still thinking short. So I'm not flipping over long. It looks like the long could be the right move because the NASDAQ has definitely made that bottom. We called 17.6. Remember we were saying like that's the next level, 17.8 to 17.6. We have the whole move on the TQQs, but we didn't buy. I thought potentially lower. You know, we were down 2%. I said we could go down 3. But we held 17.6. So I guess the prudent thing to do when you saw that hold would have been to get out of everything. But again, you know, that's what day trading is all about, and you sort of take some risks here and there. But like I said, today is not the greatest day. So, all right, for me anyways, and I know Sharif was mentioning the same thing, and you know, that's that. So yes, I did say down 3%, Brad. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Is this pullback legit, and where do we go? I mean, you know, we were bearish from the beginning of the day here, you know. So this huge move down, about 200 points on the NASDAQ, hopefully some of you cashed out. You know, that's the point right there. So hopefully some of you guys did that. But let's just wait to see. All right, I'm just basically waiting for NVIDIA.
There might be something here for Robinhood.
Yeah, on the report.
Well, okay, Robinhood reports after market tonight, so I know, and I said this before, I'm pretty sure in the market recap show, front of the mind of everybody is going to be Robinhood and earnings. I mean, what company is more important?
This morning you said Airbnb. Remember, you thought people.
I'm
might
joking.
Think?
I care more about Airbnb,
okay,
but I'm
yeah,
joking.
For our guests, for sure, or for our people.
Well, it doesn't have the short float that it used to. That said, if you look at what's been happening in Robinhood, this is undeniable. Undeniable on the daily chart. Let's be real for a second. You know, you're making a big higher low after double topping at 13 bucks. You make a big higher low, holding the 200 period, back above the 50 period, hold it on the dip today. So when the market dipped, it made a higher low immediately, and now it's holding VWAP. Now the problem for anybody trading this is VWAP down here, you're probably giving it to like 1175. So you're long in the mid to high 70s, and the top here is 1190. So that's, you know, you're scalping 10 cents. So you need to get a price where you're losing 2 or 3. That's just it, if you're going to trade this thing. But if it breaks out, that could be a different story. If this can break out in the afternoon at some point, then I might look to join any kind of a breakout because it is that kind of an explosive potential name. But I still want to be Mara for the dip into VWAP is where I'm looking. It's trying to get down here to that 25.50 level. It just doesn't seem to want to go all the way to VWAP. And the other one which just piqued my interest is Rivian making a series of higher lows. So 15 here, higher low at 15s, higher low at 16s, higher low at 23. Now it's trying to put one into VWAP. If this starts holding VWAP, maybe it can get going. I don't want to jump into, like, this one is a reversal long when it's down 6%. I do like Mara a little bit better, but for a scalp trade, you could do worse if this can start to hold. So Amazon's in new position. It is sort of chilling out here. Oh, now I got a bad wick. I'll clean that up, and hopefully when Frank's on, I'll clean that up. But just chilling out underneath VWAP, looking for it to press back down into 168, and we'll start getting that one out. So Amazon down 2%, but you know what isn't down 2% today is what we should be asking ourselves. Lily.
Oh, Lyft. I was going to say, I was trying to find out. Do we have the earnings board? Shortly? Okay, so we'll get the earnings board shortly. It's also Lyft tonight. So I'm just
Lyft too?
Yeah, I'm just going over some of the names. It's only $4.5 billion dollar market cap. It's a really, really small. There it is. Oh my God. Yeah. So
Zillow.
I saw this Instacart. I'm doing the board now.
Oh my goodness.
For the market recap show. There's a lot, man. I mean,
that's a lot.
But some of them aren't that high market cap.
Upstart.
Well, no. I mean, yeah, there's lots of great names.
That's a runner.
Upstart Airbnb. I mean, they're all on the right there. Upstart Airbnb, Lyft, and then Robinhood. I think those are going to be the big ones. So.
No one cares about GoDaddy.
I was just looking at Upstart. What is that?
Callaway Golf.
Why didn't I?
Wait a minute. Who'd Tiger? No, that was Top Flight. Never mind.
What is Upstart's market cap? Because I don't even see them on the list.
I don't even, you know what, let me double check. And what I do when I double check, because you can check it out on Trade ID.
Oh, it's only 2.8 billion.
Oh, that's nothing.
So,
it's,
yeah.
But the reason I like Upstart, so why I'm excited about Upstart has nothing to do with how big the company is. Come here for a second. 41% short float. Immediately, it's going to grab your attention as a trader. Why? Because if it starts to go, then you know what can happen on like low float names, but certainly a short float like that can be explosive, and it's coiling, like it just wants to do something. Like going into earnings, a 41% short float tightens up like this. I mean, give me a break either way. Who cares? Break down, break up. As long as you're not still trading between 33 and 36, I think you got something in Upstart. If you are still trading between 33 and 36, well, that's going to suck because you want it breaking out of this little tight range that it's got, and that's all I care about. Yeah, you're right, D-Money. Upstart was 350 2 years ago. Well, I actually, not to make it sound worse than it is, because it is worse than that, I have 400. 400's the top here on Upstart. So, yeah, it's worse than that. But this is why you don't, for these types of names, you got to take profit, man. Those pandemic.
Yeah, there's nothing to evaluate.
No, I mean, I can name like about 1 million things that were Affirm, Silvergate, everything, Virgin Galactic. There's so many names that did things like that, like Upstart.
Silvergate is now at 0.
Well, I use that as the example because it's probably the most extreme.
Yeah. There goes Palantir. Whatever, hot dog gun. All right. We're $1.70 in the money now. All right, 721.30s. Is that what we're gonna do? That's where I'm bidding. Okay, so let's see if we come down to that level right now. You good, NVIDIA? Let's see. All right, you know what? Let's put a bid at 50 here and see if it hits us. All right, we just put a bid at 50. Let's see if we can get 721.50. It's like the minute there's actually a change, like in the bid, like something dramatically happens here to NVIDIA. It's so stupid. Like the market right there is still going down. Why did NVIDIA just shoot up $1 there? Okay, anyways, there's Palantir, man. I got to be happy with this. Obviously, as Palantir continues to go down, we just went from high of the day into VWAP. So, you know, that's trading right there. So hopefully we can continue to hold on to that. Okay, NVIDIA. You can redeem yourself. Swiper, yes, swiping.
Always swipe.
Swipe down,
Stealing
Swiper. Where the hell is this Swiper guy? Let's get to the downside right now. This stupid red, oh yeah, someone called Adara a red fox. Isn't that what Swiper is a red fox?
Yeah, he's a fox.
Okay, so get to the hell to the downside. There it is right now. Let's go a little face slapping. We're $3 in the money here. We're $2 in the money on the Qs. And Palantir is, let's go. Yeah, look. That's what I'm talking about. Like you guys can see, like if this is $4 to everybody, $3. Like we started the short at 723.50. That's 724.50. Now here's like there it is. So if you're watching the show,
another one.
Tell him, DJ.
Another one.
And
another one.
So I mean, let's just keep this party going and let's get down to the downside. Let's see NVIDIA. That's 718. Wow. So we're going to be red today, but we just made back pretty much like half of our day. So it's pretty good going through right now today. So anyways, let's see what happens here. Hopefully 718 can come through. And there it is, man. Brought to you by Trader TV Live.
I think we're pretty, I mean, right now is usually when we get that like Frank bounce, but I guess because he didn't come on yet, we have to wait for it. So I'm happy about that because Amazon curled at VWAP and we're getting right down into that local bottom. So it is heading to the downside. Hopefully we can flush back into the lows. I'm skeptical that we're going to get a bounce here. We'll see. I mean, anything can happen in the market, but it just feels pretty heavy, man. We're consolidating on lower lows. So it was the only position we put on was Amazon because it was at VWAP, but I'd like to see it break down that 168. If we get along tomorrow, maybe. You guys let me know when we're ready. Frank, he's always on time, but you guys let us know when we are ready to go to Frank. I will go over to Mara. This was the only name, well, this was the first name that I wanted for a dip buy, but that had to be VWAP. If the market's coming down and you want a long, let it get to your price. that's a motto of mine, because if it's, you know, you're going against the grain, you should get the price you want. What we want to do is go to the desk and see what Frank has to say about this CPI number.
There he is. Yeah, a lot to understand coming off this number this morning, Frank. Good to see you as always. It's higher than expected, to say the least. But we're also seeing a move back higher in some of the yields right across the board all day long, essentially, where I just checked again. We're back to essentially highs here. Why this one is the one, apparently, that the market is concerned about?
Yeah, and this is all relative to expectations, right? Because if you're just looking at a chart of inflation, headline or core, it's looking pretty good. Like it's looking like you'd want it, which is down and to the right. And the 3.1% headline inflation number seems pretty darn close to the 2% target that the Fed wants before they start cutting. They haven't necessarily said we need to see 2%. But they seem to want it closer to 2% before they start cutting. That being said, expectations were that we were going to get an inflationary print headline, at least, in the 2 handle, and that we were going to get a core inflation print at 3.7%. That came in at 3.9, and the headline inflation here came in at 3.1. And so while it looks like inflation is moving in the right direction, and it still very well could be moving in the right direction, the expectation, Brendan, was that we were going to get a lower inflation print here in February, and that was going to set up the Fed for having the ability to cut either in March or May. Both of those meetings now are showing odds of less than 50% chance of a cut. The chances of a cut in March now are, I think, below 10%. As we're getting closer to that binary outcome of action or no action. And now it's looking like more than 90% chance of no action in March. And now the May meeting is less than 50% chance of a cut. Last time I checked, it was around 35% chance of a cut. And so the big story here today, Brendan, isn't necessarily, oh, inflation has bounced back and we're worried about it resurfacing. But it's not moving lower like we expected. And now the rate cuts start to get pushed out more and more in time. And that's had a massive effect, as you and the guys can see, obviously in stocks, but a massive effect in gold and silver prices getting annihilated here today. Gold looking at $2,000 once again, trading right up against it before I jump down with you. We'll see if they break $2,000 in gold. That'd be the first time here year to date. Obviously, when it comes to S&Ps and NASDAQ, giving up 1% or 2% from the all-time highs that they've been blowing out in recent trade doesn't seem like that much. But this becomes a slippery slope, right? We talked about it last time, Brendan, that one of the best earnings seasons that we've had in a while, employment, both of the last 2 non-farm readings, way higher than expected. And then you and I looked at this inflation expectation for today last week and said to each other, what's wrong here? Because how could we have some of the greatest employment data over the course of the last year, one of the greatest earnings seasons of all time, and inflation is also going to move lower so that the Fed can cut by May? That piece of it didn't come through, and you're seeing the effects throughout every asset class. Not to mention, I mean, the U.S. dollar is ripping as we speak.
Yeah, I get that it's February, and context is key here, but we continue to have this conversation over and over and over again, week after week, in that, you know, down the road we go, down the road we go. The whole excitement for the market going into the end of the year last year, and then, you know, so far this year has been around all of these cuts that were apparently going to come. If just to remind everyone, coming up in March is going to be the first economic projections that we get to the Fed from the Fed, and then also that revised dot plot. I mean, we can sit here and go, what if, what if, what if? But you know, if that comes out, and you know, we're talking about Q4 even, and you know, half or more than half of these cuts have come off the table, market could be in trouble.
Man, you pose a really interesting piece that I honestly didn't set in with me until just now, because you and I have been so focused on, going into this year, the market was projecting 6 or 7 rate cuts, and the Fed members were projecting 2 or 3 rate cuts. And some of you out there might be like, how the hell does that work? That the market's projecting something, and the Fed, who actually control these cuts or hikes or no changes, are projecting something different. That's always been the case, is that there's been a difference between the two, the market and the Fed, and one wins out. It's not always the Fed. And I was just thinking more, and we have the graphic if you want to throw it up, that the market is shifting closer to those 2 to 3 rate cuts that the Fed had projected in their December dot plot. Now they're at 4 rate cuts or less, and you can see that's a 75% chance now, Brendan, that they get 4 cuts or less, and you can see that there's almost a 50% chance of just 3 cuts throughout the remainder of this year as they price out another cut. I didn't think at all about the fact that at that March meeting, the Fed itself could revise their December dot plot and say, okay, it's great that the market has gone from 6 or 7 cuts to now closer to what our projections were in December. But now our projections are more like 1 or 2 cuts here for this year. So much stuff on the table. And I guess that is why you're seeing such massive price action across every asset class, is not because, oh man, we hit another high in inflation. It went from 3% to 6%. Back in those highs that we saw more than a year ago. It's more so that everything was expected to go lower, lower, lower in Jan, Feb, March, so that we could get a cut in March or in May. And now it seems like we're not only not getting those lower prints, Brendan, this thing may be turning around slightly, and it's going to throw off everything that was projected for 2024, that rally at the end of the year in stocks. And the sell-off in U.S. rates and dollar was a classic pricing in all the cuts that were supposed to come in 2024. And now they're not only pushing them out in time, Brendan, and pricing them out, but it starts to feel like if the PCE inflation is higher than expected and non-farm the first week of March is higher than expected, and to your point, if the Fed revises that dot plot to be even more hawkish, potentially some members, I'm sure, after these first few data points of the year might say, hey, man, we're not looking at any cuts now for this year. You could have a pretty monumental shift across a lot of these assets, even though the funny, to your point, inflation isn't necessarily ripping higher. Like we're not in that mode yet, at least. Hopefully we don't get there, knock on wood, of we don't know how high inflation is going to get because it hasn't necessarily bounced back. It's not, like I say, moving higher. It's just not moving lower.
And to that point, I know we typically look at this from a very high level and just say inflation is X, in this case 3.1%, but I think it's worth everyone kind of digging into this. I saw this graphic and thought it might be worth just highlighting the fact that's the overall average of 3.1. But here's exactly what is in this that's causing the problem: rent, personal care, restaurant meals, pets and pet supplies, and housing. So that portion of it remains consistent in that it's the housing side of things, it's the experience side of things, I guess. If you're going out and eating out, that's where people are feeling it the most. At the bottom end of that, it's energy essentially across the board, in rental cars, airfare, but that's also affected by energy. So it's worth, I think, people just taking the time to go and understand exactly. Yes, it's still 3.1%, but it's mostly on the housing side of things, and that's what Powell keeps pointing to, especially in the PCE that we've seen over and over and over again.
And you raise a great point there, because the idea was, of course, we're going to get lower inflationary numbers in Jan, Feb, and March because energy prices have been moving lower. Right, crude oil is at a much more normal place. Natural gas is at pretty historic lows at this point. You just pointed out all those travel pieces are dragging that inflation lower, but it's still not moving lower. And so I think the idea here as well could be, again, not necessarily that inflationary fear of getting back up to 6, 7, 8, 9% like we did a couple of years ago. But if energy is off by 5, 10% and should be dragging that headline inflation into the 2 handle, and we're still not able to get there, then what happens if that piece gets closer to unchanged? Do we have an inflation that in the March reading for CPI does get back closer to 4%, and the core inflation does get back closer to 5%? We'll see. It's definitely been an interesting week here as all these markets are trying to digest this number and what exactly it means.
It's been a long time since we've had, Sharif and I were just commenting on this, since we've had not only a 2% day in the NASDAQ, but a 3% potentially day in the NASDAQ to the downside, but much needed, let's be honest, with the move that we've had from bottom to top. So yeah, if we get a 6, 7, 8% move back down over the next few weeks, and this could be part of the reason, that's I think fair game for the overall market. So more to come. As always, great stuff. Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Thanks again.
Thanks, Brendan.
It's opposite world. It's opposite world because the market, we said it was going to be different. The market was moving down, but I got trailed out of my short the second Frank was wrapping up there. Just to give you an update, I slapped the trail on Amazon when it got up and down at that 168 level. So VWAP to the even dollar, that was a target. Takes them out at 1-to-1. In the afternoon, keep saying it over and over again. One of the setups that I like to try not to overtrade is find a trend, a stock that is strong or stock that is weak. If it's weak and it pulls back into VWAP, look for the short. If it's strong and it pulls back into VWAP, look for the long, and hopefully you can be with the trend that way. So one trade, we'll see if we can find something else, but I don't think much is getting back to VWAP at this particular point. Might start looking for some lower highs in this market. So I'm not in anything, but it's power hour. Don't want to throw good money at bad, but be happy that this trend is starting to confirm. If we had gotten a pop up, I think there were some things to short, but at the end of the day, this market is red and heading for a little bit more. I don't remember the last time we saw a 3% day. I'd have to look it up, to be honest with you, but I wouldn't be surprised if we at least tested like 2.5%. It's getting pretty heavy.
Ah, man. All right. We switched over to a red cup. We got some tea going on here. Just realizing that traders stay late. That's good. All right. Just in case anybody's looking, we're in a $6 winner right now. And we just had this on just about 15 minutes now it's a half hour ago. And we got the cover. So it's all good, baby. All right. Yeah, who would have called that kind of a move today? I don't know, but it's a nice move to the downside. Let's just see what happens. I just don't want to, hi, my name is Sean. I have about 350 fills today. So yeah, I'm trying not to overtrade. Again, Palantir to the downside. I think there's more pain coming. I mean, we talked about more pain up here. We were talking about pain right here. That was 50 handles ago, 60 handles ago. And we had to endure it on NVIDIA. Anyways, all right, let's see what happens here. This is now $6 in the money and still going lower. So hopefully that'll be good. Yeah, what's up, Paulie D? Yeah, this is coffee. This is actually decaffeinated. The caffeine actually...
Decaffeinated?
This is decaffeinated tea. I don't know. I went over there.
Tea. For some reason in my head I was thinking coffee. I'm like, you don't drink decaf coffee.
Nah. The drug has to be a hell of a lot stronger than caffeine to affect me. I don't even
the taste difference for me I can't deal with.
Yeah. I haven't had decaf coffee since I was a little wee one, like 3 years old. Okay. Let's go. NVIDIA breaking lower. Here we go. This is now an $8. Is it $8? $7 winner. All right, I'm still pissed off about this, but whatever. Okay, let's move on. We got $8 in the money here. All right, NVIDIA taking it back in. Let's find out where we're going to get out of this name. Okay, that's it. Never. I don't even want to like. You know, what about how about 710? You guys, you know, is that reasonable down here near the bottom of the day? I mean, I don't. You know, we flushed early through 700. You know, like let's see that. How about that, NVIDIA? You know, like there's a lot. So we've just made back like, it doesn't matter. We don't talk about net. All right. Palantir, 66. Bye-bye. Let's go into the gates of hell right now. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. What's up, Paulie D? Yeah, decaf and an e-cig. Yeah, that's what I feel like I should be having now. Obviously, I don't smoke. But here we go to the downside. Let's just let it drop. Like, I don't mean to be like so ho-hum about this, but it's like this is, you know, we've had this before, and we're just rolling right now down into the downside. I don't know if we're getting a little too greedy by waiting for that 710-ish area. I mean, that's 714 at the top, 713. I mean, we could take 10. All right, let's put a bid now. I mean, I'm talking myself into this. I don't really know why. 714 or so, we'll put a bid out here because that's just ahead of all of this. So maybe we do get back into this area, 714, 6, like, I don't know. I don't want to, like I said, my main problem is always chasing P&L. So let's just see what happens here. We just wicked down to 716 and change. We can get $2 more on that, then we'll be filled. So let's just wait. I mean, we could always punch out a little bit at 720 if it goes back up, you know. But let's just wait. Let's just wait. Palantir's making the move down. And by the way, I mean, you guys are seeing the TQs. So right now, this is about, if you're trading the futures, I mean, it's about 200 and something handles in the money now, 225 to the downside. So yeah, man, we're short today, and we're still short. So let's go. Yeah, you guys may be right there in the chat, but I'm just going to continue with my trade going on now. Right now, NVIDIA, let's just go. I'm still waiting for that 714, so let's wait for that. We were initially going to go 715. We can put it at 715. Let's just put it at 715. If it gets into there, I mean, we can honestly, when you're in the money $10, like being in the money 11 is nice, but sometimes you gotta take things. Walmart right now is a name. They're in talks to buy Vizio apparently, but Walmart could be a decent buy. I was talking about names that are tech names. But Walmart could be that retail name because Amazon, the reason why I say tech with retail is like the only exposure. I have Costco, but I'm not. So Walmart could be a trade here. And I believe actually Walmart, Neil, I believe is this week.
For some reason, I thought
20th.
next week.
It is. It's
Okay.
next week, so a week today.
Yeah,
So anyway.
I own Walmart, not Costco. But I mean, I bought Walmart a long time ago, so it's not like I bought once in the last couple of years. When it was a bad 2020, obviously everyone knows 2022 was a bad year. 2023 was good. Walmart was one of the names I liked in 2022 when the market was weak. However, just found something. How is Rivian above VWAP right now? I'm not trying to explain it. I actually don't have a rational explanation for why the market would be doing this and why Rivian would be hanging out at VWAP. It doesn't actually make sense to me, but it does tell me that after making a bunch of higher lows, there's probably something here, and I'm gonna take a shot at this one because you can give it to 25s and be long 30s. So I'm gonna go for that here on Rivian. Again, it doesn't matter why it is relatively strong. I'm just gonna go with the fact that it happens to be relatively strong. Mara was the other one, but that couldn't hold on to VWAP though. It's kind of close. If you're watching along with Bitcoin, where's my BTC chart? Because I do care a lot about that. If I'm gonna be trading, what do you see? You see continued strength in BTC. If that can get back above and maybe break this out. I know I want Mara long if this starts breaking out, that's for sure. And it should be off of VWAP. That's the way to play it. I did get out of Amazon at 168. It's still consolidating off of the same level. There's always a chance I could just jump right back in because as this tried to bounce off of support, sorry, I'm missing some data on my Amazon chart. But as this continues to bounce off this level, either I get back in at VWAP or jump in if it starts to show weakness here with a stop at 25. I don't mind getting back in the same trade, but there's buyers at 3, buyers at evens. I don't think I'm at the point where I want to short this level yet. I want to wait for that pop. Rivian's a different story. Long, strong stocks. I know it's down 6%, but the way I see it, relatively strong because it's making higher lows and holding VWAP when the market is at the low. So relative strength is what I'm getting at here with Rivian. I don't want to chase it. I'd like to get low 30s in here if we can catch that bit of a bid. I saw a couple of people in there as well that were saying they liked Rivian above VWAP. I like it. Micron, probably not the best out, but I had my target at the low, and it trailed me out at the low. I thought we could get back into 81.80. That's where I was sitting waiting. It got to 65s or so. So did not get the re-entry into Micron. This is it's more of a dog than you would think. People don't equate Micron with being a stock that would fall 5% on a day like today. But it is failing a big, big channel on Micron. It's been like if we load up here, it's been about a year and change that it's been making the exact same channel on the daily, and this thing seems like it wants even more. If this stock gets to 70 to 72, like down in here, I don't see why not have a look at the long. Channels like that holding this well, I mean, give me a break. It's bouncing right off the bottom of this. So if this gets to 70 bucks, I think it's a buy. But until then, dump it.
All right, we're $7 now in the money, and I just want to tell everybody, when we were taking this trade on NVIDIA, our stop was $7.25. So we are taking like $1 stop or so in here to make we're at 7 now, we're at $8 now. So that's why, like when it comes back in, we're taking a little bit out here into 722 off 724, 723. Here comes the breaker 19, you know. Hello. All right, we're bidding 715 deuces. So let's see if that comes upside now, back into the downside now. Palantir. Thanks, Patrick was like, man, that was a good short. Thank you, Patrick. Let's just see where it goes, though. And I feel like a good short is only good if you get out. And obviously, we'll have, there we go. Let's put bid of 98 and take some out right there. So there it goes, man. I mean, wow. Good on this trade so far here today in the afternoon. Normally, we don't get this kind of movement. And I'm always talking about, you know, waiting for something to happen. ETHE, the Ethereum Trust. I just want to get a quick little check in on this bad boy right here. What is going on with the Ethereum Trust today? Down 2%, which is kind of funny because Bitcoin, we can see, what is GBTC again? Up or down today? GBTC is down, okay, the same. So GBTC, and let me just check, this is my favorite one, the I
Close to breaking.
IBIT. Yeah, so they're
Look
both
at this
the same.
triple top you're going to see. Well, it's close to a triple.
Yeah,
top.
that's
it's not
why.
there yet, but
that's why I was talking about Ethereum. We did have Jeff Mendel on today, and I just wanted to see. I'm noticing relative strength in Ethereum, but not today. I mean, they're basically the same. So both down 2%. Just wanted to go over there to have a quick little look. Yeah, because Vizio. So VZIO just bought out by Walmart. So they just got bought out by Walmart. It's halted right now. I was talking about that. In talks to buy this. So here it is right here. It's now open. There goes Vizio.
Roku down 10% on this.
Yeah, so maybe they were thinking that there was some kind of an interest in Roku as opposed to Vizio. So there it is right there. Vizio starting to go back up. Just unhalted. Walmart in talks to acquire Vizio for more than $2 billion is what I'm hearing in my ear right now. Brendo is over there, and it doesn't need to confirm it because that's what I'm hearing. If there's anything coming, obviously, Brendo will have that. But here, Vizio right now, they're saying $2 billion. So the market cap is 1.28. Now, I don't know if this adjusts real time, but whatever that math is, there it is adjusting.
It says more than 2 million, actually.
Yeah, 2 billion. Yeah.
Billion.
So that means the price has to be at least double from where it is right here. So that 2 billion is probably not going to happen, but we'll wait to see what's going on right now. But congratulations if you are a shareholder in Vizio, you're getting the bump up there by Walmart. So we could see what's happening in Walmart. Probably the acquirer goes down, and I wouldn't know why they're buying Vizio, but let's just have a quick little look. This could be a good opportunity to get some Walmart. I want to buy Walmart. I mean, I think a habitual dividend raiser. Come on, NVIDIA. We're now $8 in, and let's go, man. Let's get one. Oh, that's that. We are smoking. There we go. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now on NVIDIA, but it doesn't mean that we're ready to get out. We're waiting for 715 O's. All right? I may be changing that.
Is the actual even? Or like 10?
No, I'm going to go to 715.50 right now. All right. Look, this has been quite the day, man. I went for the walk, and honestly, I can tell you this because this was not making me happy, and then I saw this, and then honestly, same thing there for Amazon. Like stopped out there on Amazon at 169.70. You know what I mean? And we're not. Everybody trades different shares. We talk about that all the time. But it's like, that hurts when that happens to me, and I hate that. And then I see this, and it's like, ugh. You should never like look at a trade and be like, oh, what if I still had it? Because you don't have it. So that's why you have to deal with the trades that you do have. You see, NVIDIA just went all the way down there, smashed 716 and stopped. So that, again, the futures also stopped. But the futures have no business stopping here. So there could be a further push down. Actually, take that back. The 17,550 is a level. So, all right, I thought we were waiting for this level down here at 17.5.
This is that support, yeah.
But there is some support there right now. So we called that sort of that top today, and we were lucky to have that. Not lucky. Is it luck? I don't know. But right there, 17.5 right there. So, all right. That could be a spot there. Maybe 716 on, let's go to 716. So we'll sacrifice $1. We were initially going to wait for 715. Let's go to 716 just because we bounced there so clean. Like we've been bouncing off 716 now for about 15 minutes. So we'll see if it goes. Yeah, I know. Trend all trades telling me to cover it. Yeah, we will. We'll cover it.
Trades.
I got this, homie. I got this. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully it does come back into the downside. And if not, yeah, we probably have to cover a bit. Maybe a 718 break a little bit there.
Well, we always have to cover. It's a matter of where. But the thing about it is, when the market is still beneath the low, like I know that's a 17.55. We're looking at that like right away at the open because the CPI number. Like the first thing you do is check that and zoom out. However, you know the NASDAQ is sort of hanging on at the bottom of that range. Like the pops off here are like infinitesimal. I did get into Rivian. I have it in front of VWAP there. I got 30s long. We'll see if we can get something tied to VWAP. But if the market's going to bounce, this is somewhat strong. The other name, look, I'm going to get to Roku in a second, show you what was going on there with the Vizio news. The other name that's above VWAP is Disney. Remember I said there were, on my quote board, there were like two things that were green today that weren't UVXY and oil. It was Disney and Eli Lilly. So this is holding VWAP pretty nicely. If the market starts to go, that could be a name to look for some longs in. But what happened over there in Roku on the Vizio news, it's still at those lows. Now, sometimes you can get that dead cat bounce on news like this, but the first thing you do is zoom out, see if there's a key level. It's not till like 87, maybe even 86 half. No, 87. That would be it. Like if this makes one more push down and shows a bottom at 87, that's what I'd be looking for on that news. So it's got to be the 87 level. Otherwise, I think you're getting in too early. But Roku now SSR down over 11% on the Vizio news and continuing to bleed. They're another one that reports this week, but they report on Thursday, I want to say. So you got a couple of days to sort of hang out until we get Roku. And Roku on earnings, few names move as much as Roku on earnings, but you're getting a small taste of what it's capable of early. So the new position alert is going to be Rivian. We're in it off of VWAP. Let's see if it can bounce into the top end of the range. Amazon is starting to roll over in the same range we had it. So I'm going to try to short the 168 level. We got out. It basically went sideways. If it breaks another leg lower, I want to be into it, giving it to this local high.
That's for you, Russell Jackson, if you're still here. Russell wanted this earlier. We'll give it to him right there. NVIDIA is just now $8. We took some out there. We got that 716 fill that we got. I'm just tweeting it out right now for that trade. So we'll be on that one. I told you what we're doing. I got to discard. That's the wrong Instagram account. Go find me at TraderTV Sean. We're posting all the stuff up there now as well. We're also going on LinkedIn So go find me over there, and the rest is history. This is a banger here on NVIDIA, and I just feel good about it because we gave it to everybody as well. Not only did we give it to everybody, we explained, and again, I take everything to heart. I mean, we all take this very, very seriously. Literally, giving you as much content as possible, you know. And then so that's why content is one thing. Giving trades and understanding the risk that's involved with them and everything like that, that's the other thing, because then you can grow and just get better and everything like that. So you guys had mentioned before that you want, first of all, trades that you can actually hold on to, and then also trades that we can describe to you what the risk and reward is. And that's why we're hashtagging things like real trading and things like that. It's because this is a trade that, you know, everybody could have. You know, and again, there's the 200 period. We broke that down to you. We gave it $1 worth of risk. So that would be something that most of you could be able to hold. We only now have about 20%, maybe 15% left as it comes down. So that was good. Like, we're good now. That's what we have left now. So I took that out, man. Like, when I saw, you know, what we were involved with, that was a good move. Like, holding it all the way there to that bottom of the afternoon was one thing. And then as we zoom out a little bit for NVIDIA, waiting for this 715, which it came in basically, was another thing. Waiting for down here now, 710. Now that is something else. So we'll wait to see if that can come in down here at 710 on NVIDIA. So it's 3:20 right now. I'm just getting what I'm doing. I told you what I was doing, getting locked and loaded here for the recap show, because I know a lot of you stay late. So you're going to do that again today. We have the man, the myth, the legend coming through. It's Brian Shannon who's going to be coming on the show. We had Michael Noss yesterday, and by the way, congratulations, Mr. Michael Noss. We were talking about going short yesterday. We broke it down. We've been talking about that, man. I even made him, like, I called up, like, NVIDIA, and I'm like, short, like, all of this. You know, we talked about ARM, short, like, everything was talked about there on the market recap show. That's why we're doing it. You know, give you the best guess, and quite frankly, to stay late for you. So please join. $9 now in the money. Thank you so much, Lava and all of that, man, as it goes. No rest for the wicked over here. So if you see bags under my eyes, you might understand why. But it's for you. Thank you, Nicole Harris. And a big shout out to somebody that we couldn't do this without. And that's Mr. Bears versus Bulls. So let's just go. Brendan is the GOAT. But as far as moderators are concerned, it's a big shout out to you, my guy. I know we message each other back and forth all the time. So shout out to you. Keep up the good work. And let's just keep this train rolling, man. Next stop, the moon.
And beyond. I mean, there are no limits. And that's what it's all about. And shout out to Bears versus Bulls. I know in the middle of the day, you know, you had to deal with, there was someone talking about GME and some weird stuff that was going on in the middle of that day. And it happens, but we have a great moderator, and I think he's fantastic with it. So I'm going to get right back in. I said I can get out at this price. I'll get back in if it sets back up again. And that's what happened on Amazon. So the VWAP, we can forget about VWAP now. The consolidation's off the 168 level. It just popped, got to 20s, faded underneath, lower high at 10s, short that one. So I'll give that into like the 20s or the quarters. And if we make another leg to the downside, I got rid of the wick and the wick came back. What can you do? But the market is retaking the low of the day. So willing to jump back into the trade when the NASDAQ reclaims the lows. We're now at 17.55. If this does not hold, we could see 3% to the downside in the overall market. So back into Amazon. I do still like Rivian, but I am only going to give it to the local bottom at 15.25. It's the fact that it's above VWAP that's the reason I like it, and I'm not that happy with the out in Micron. I'd love for this to be able to pop up and then try to short it back in there if we can get 81.5, something like that, but I'm not going to chase it by shorting the lows. Not the time of day that I want to be short the absolute bottoms. I want something which is giving me some room for it to fall that I can sink my teeth into and sort of see a target because you got 20, 30 minutes for it to go. When you're day trading, you got 4 o'clock, and then the clock is against you. You can't hold it overnight. So Micron could easily, as I said, be at like, whoops, I got to do this because I have it on multiple desktops. Micron can easily be at $70, which is my expectation this trend continues, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen today. Like, I'm not swinging Micron short. I think if you were and you were holding on to this in this channel, yeah, you might be thinking, yeah, why wouldn't you wait for it to get back down into the 70s? But for today, I need it to pop or there's nothing I can do with it. So once 168 is gone, which it looks like it, the first out is going to be again at 1-to-1. Once I get 1-to-1, I take the first leg out and then try to hold for a test back into these lows. Because Amazon has a long way to go. The bottom is 166. Those lows, the reversal this morning
Cannot believe that Amazon
was ridiculous. 166 got hit today on Amazon, and it was there for about 5 seconds. And then it was at 167. And then 5 minutes later, it was at 170. So that's how violent this morning's reversal was. Painful because realistically, at 9:30, the market was a long, and it didn't turn into a short until about 11 o'clock, if not midday.
Guys, it's funny because right on point there. Look what we are thinking today. I just said CPI could change levels, not my opinion. Look at this. Short Microsoft, short ARM, short Intel, short PayPal, short Amazon. You know, so I mean, yeah, this move is happening, down 2.3% and still going. And NVIDIA is now $10 in the money, which is unbelievable. I did not think, obviously, we would not have covered if we had thought this, but this is what trading is all about. You just watch these trades continue to go, and of course, the NASDAQ is at the low of the day. We're in the money 7% on this TQQ trade, or more probably on this one. All right, Palantir, again, this one, I mean, I didn't think we'd be, again, $1 in the money on Wow. NVIDIA, guys, like, this is pretty huge, man. There's some people talking about, what's up, Peterson, talking about all this, but yeah, whether or not Google, I was actually debating going short Google right now, so that's a pretty good look there for that. We were short earlier, like, you know, and then it doesn't matter. This was really early. This is 9:45. We got out of the way. So that Google at 146. I don't even think this NVIDIA short is done yet. Like, I mean, obviously I'm still in it. So there it goes right now. All right, let's...
AMD is about to break some support. Someone was asking about AMD on the chat. My thing is AMD was strong for most of, like, here's the difference. You see NVIDIA, that's making lower lows and lower highs, right? Like AMD, it's making the lower lows into the same bottom. So it's a bit of, like, it needs to break this support if it's gonna have the flush. That's 169. Underneath 169, I think AMD joins the party. Oddly enough, 169 is when I stopped shorting it this morning, thank goodness. And it's not even back there yet. So there are weaker names in the market. Don't get me wrong, AMD could easily break down here. We're at 330, we're gonna get the early look on the imbalances. If we continue to push through and can get through this 17.55, then I think AMD can give you a couple bucks. But I needed to see it bust through that 69 and break some people down. If you were long this in the morning, you could still be trailing this. The long might still feel okay about AMD. And that's just juxtaposed against what you're seeing over there in NVIDIA, right? If Sean wasn't in the trade and I didn't see NVIDIA tanking, I'd probably still look it up before I went into AMD. AMD holding up a little bit nicer there. Amazon did give the first leg. No, I got rid of the wick. The wick keeps coming back there. I just got some out at 1-to-1 in the low 80s there. So it is giving that same range-bound trade. But if we're not going to make the big flush through the lows on the NASDAQ, you're not going to get the push down where we'd like to see it. Rivian is holding on for dear life. That's 15.25. It just tagged it and did not stop me by 1 cent. So if this gets back up into the 35s and 40s, remember, I creatively put my stop underneath the local bottom, and it just bounced off of it. Sometimes, I always look at it this way. If you have a stop and it goes to your price and doesn't go the extra cent, and it works, great. But there's a certain amount of that that's like, okay, I might not have had the stop level dead on because I might have needed to hold it a shekel or two past it. Therefore, I needed to get in a little bit tighter to it and give it a couple of extra cents. Because there's a little bit of fluke when they just don't bother running the stop at the obvious price. Because 9 times out of 10, someone's just going to take it 1 cent further, run a bunch of stops, and then it's going to go. So it just means you need to be a bit more patient. Like I got it in front of VWAP, but if I'm getting out underneath here, maybe give it to 22s and don't get long till like 27 or 28. That's just an adjustment that I would make if my stop had gotten run. Probably going to get away with it here, but that doesn't mean it was a tight enough entry point. Just because it works doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. So I should have got some 27s for sure. There we go. We just had a guest walk into the studio. I don't know if he wants to come on cam, but probably not.
He does not.
But happy to see you. Happy to see you.
Yeah, it's a good day here one more time. So, I mean, you know, we're a little bit, I just want to talk to people about NVIDIA right now, because if we break back down, break above this 718, you know, like it's an $8 winner. We did push 10 down there at 714, but we're going to get out if it breaks the 50-period moving average of our last piece. Like I said, the damage we've done here has been good. I'll leave it at that. So we're going to get out there again, which was $1 worth of risk, went 10. So we're pretty happy about it, man. I mean, I don't know what else to do. We're going to get out if that happens, back down to the downside right now. So, okay, that's that. And back up to the upside if it continues to go. I don't really, Ethereum was something interesting that I was talking about that we were trying to go to. We'll figure out if people, some people in the chat there saying people are about to get wrecked. I don't know what people are going to get wrecked on. There's a nice move down to, I mean, the day of reckoning is here now, and this is nothing. So
This isn't reckoning.
If you think, again, it's not everyone's going to call these kind of moves down, right? But I'm really happy that we're able to do that here today and get some of this pressure and just sort of help people, because there's a lot of traders that sort of, when the market goes down, it becomes like very sort of like you sit there and you're like so upset about everything. This is why we're breaking down some key levels and possibly what to expect. You know, so right here, the VWAP, the 50-period moving average, I'm going to get out of this. This is, again, another $2 winner. So here we go. Let's hit the dollar club. One $2 winner right there, as the dollar trade club is back in full effect here once again, ladies and gentlemen. So 55.90 right there for the TQQs. A paltry 6% right now in the money. Let's see what happens now with this trade. But I'm going to put a stop in. So just so everybody knows, like my stop on this, I'm going to cancel it right now. We're short at 57.84. My stop is 58.11. So 25 cents worth of risk here for this. But we are getting back up to the upside. Let's put a stop right now, 55.86 on the NASDAQ.
So we got the early look on the imbalances. You'll be surprised. No, it's nothing. 32 million to the buy side, believe it or not. Individual names, only one. Like the only thing that stands out to me. Well, there's two actually. Never mind. The Palantirs are. Shopify 1.5 million early look to sell. Palantir 1.1 early look to buy. Which, I mean, that's not nothing for Palantir or Shopify. If those actually come out true. Palantir, it's done 86 million shares, but a million's still a million, and it is somewhat near a support level. So it does bear watching on Palantir. And then Shopify, well, I think we already showed you guys Shopify. Today, it's right back down into that 77 level. So on a sell and balance, if that were to flip, 77 is that double bottom. Looks like it tagged it once. I think that's worth a watch. I'll go to the bad one first, because we reloaded into Amazon. It went 1-to-1, and then it came out. We lost 10 cents on that the way back up. Not going to fight it. VWAP is always going to be the better level to short. If I'm shorting it lower, once it breaks, it breaks. Rivian on the dip. As I said, it came 1 cent away from stop. The high is 15.35. Going to get some out there, and then just see how far it can go. And there was a small piece of news on Disney here. Just to jump over to got a wick there as well.
Hopefully.
It's good news. Well, I mean, it's good news. College football playoff and ESPN reportedly agreed to a 6-year extension. I mean, were they going to lose that? No.
Maybe.
I don't. Well, okay, yeah, maybe. Nothing is certain in life, but I don't think they were going. They probably weren't going to lose that. Remember, Disney. A lot of why after earnings, people have liked it. A, cost cutting. B, but they're doing this collaboration for a streamer with Fox and a couple of other providers. Disney holding VWAP very nicely. This is a strong stock today. There's not much that you can lean into today that's held up to the upside. Disney being one of them should tell you something. When the market, when a stock reacts to bad news well, or when a stock holds up when everything is down. I'm not talking about when tech is down. When everything is down, if a stock is closing up, that's a bullish stock. So when you sit down tomorrow, when I sit down tomorrow, one of the first things I'm going to do is write down Disney, look long. It doesn't mean it sets up. And look at that, 112, where the players dwell. You've got a nice local high for a potential breakout, maybe even the 111. But this is a relatively strong stock. I don't want to be thinking short tomorrow on Disney. not when I sit down. That's part of your prep. Look at the levels, see what's going on at the end of the day. Don't overtrade. If you can find some winners, great. Thankfully, we got a few here. But Disney tomorrow, I like strong stocks to only go in the direction that they are trending.
Alrighty then. Okay, we are just in. I just want to watch out for NVIDIA here. This is a $10. We're only hit it once right now. We're in the money now, $10 on this trade, and watching it continue to hopefully go higher here, but go lower. But the market, I do have a stop at 718 for NVIDIA. So you can see the 50-period moving average is slowly coming down. We're gonna have to watch out for that at 718 there. We are starting a new position now on Google, and it's not great. We're short right now at 11s. It's starting to go against us. I was gonna give this to 30s. We were just trying to break above right now, this level of 15s. But it looks like we're going to get stopped. Yeah, darn it. Looks like we'll get stopped out. Yeah, there goes the market. Looks like we're going to get stopped out on this one as it continues to go to the upside. But again, it's fine. It's not fine. You never, oh, there it is. We never want to get stopped out. But the market did make that move. And this is what's happened before. Remember, we saw this before, and this gave us the short in NVIDIA. But right now, with that imbalance coming as a buy, I guess it was, or what was it, a small sell? What did Brendo say it was there? It was a small buy. So 32 million, that's probably opposite of what everybody thought. So I could see the market definitely giving some love back here a little bit into the close, like back up. So let's just see what happens. We are short Google. I just took some out right there. Don't need this whole thing falling apart on me. But we're short Google right now. We're short Palantir, and we're short the market. So Palantir, I mean, sans it moving even further than this. Let's put something else on the bid now just to get it out. Looks like we're going to be wrong on the market continuing its downside push, which is fine. Look at Bitcoin, 49.3 right now, starting to go again. So we'll be patient with everything here on the day, but so far so good here in the afternoon. We took some hits earlier, as we mentioned, but so far so good there. And people asking if we saw ARM. Look, we nailed ARM yesterday, man, and obviously, that would have been another good short right there, breaking through the 200, watching it exhaust, and then all the way back down. But for right now, ARM continues to make the move, man, down 20%. This name has a home, and I think it's sub 100. So let's wait to see what happens.
Pull the daily. I like
ARM.
it's a $10 range, but like 80 to 90 bucks. So if you look at the daily chart,
it's me times 2.
That feels like a bit of a level for him. But what's crazy is I sold ARM, half of my ARM position in my personal account. Like when I sold it at 120. What was it, like midday? In the middle of the day, it went to 160. It's now back to that 120.
Yeah, you never know.
And you just don't know. And I think the day of reckoning for them, I know I've been saying a lot about NVIDIA earnings and what happens there, and probably bad things for chip names. But ARM, it's the lockup. When SoftBank has a chance to sell, SoftBank's going to sell. SoftBank, when you smell money, what you do is you go ahead and grab it. And there's no chance to see the opportunity to bank on this thing, and they don't take it. This was at $50 when it IPO'd, so they got to be happy with it. That 17.55 held on the NASDAQ. The only thing I liked long, maybe not the only thing, Disney was okay off VWAP. It's going to stay inside the range Rivian, but I just got the 35s. If we can get a late break, and get it into 1550, then I want to take that out as well as it continues to go. Mr. Ree, he sold ARM, it cost him a leg. Not really.
That was a good one.
I mean, that is a great one. I can hit the joke drums for you. I do like it. But I think what you got to consider, like, at the moment that it happened, the reason why I did it is it stopped, like it doesn't make any sense, and suddenly you're dealing with something that is not what I think was a long-term investment. And the reason I said that 80 to 90 is you had a triple top at 80, and then the first day, this is pretty simple, the first day that it pulled back into the 90 level. So I look at that entire gap, and it's also in front of the 50 period. That's probably the first place I'd even consider buying this one again, at least not until the IPO lockup expires on the 12th. Pure squeeze, man. You've got to recognize when something goes from being rational to being a squeeze, and when this turned into a squeeze, you had to look at it differently. No question about it. Mr. Ree, you went short on ARM like a T-Rex. Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
I like that one. Actually, I like that one even better.
Oh, it's by far the best one. Okay, so by the way, just in case you people at home are watching, that's it, baby. Tron Travolta's like, what happened to that NVIDIA? Hey. Oh no, our stream deck is down. Fabian, our stream deck is down.
Oh, so that means none of the things
Fabian.
that worked.
Stream deck is down. Oh, you know. Okay, let us know next time if that happens. But stream deck down, but NVIDIA's out. So I was going to hit something, but NVIDIA's out. So there it is, man. We'll take $8 on that trade, all the way short to the. Yeah, I was just going to go Travolta because like we have the one where Travolta's like, hey, man, what's going on? So,
you know what? Remember when they went down for the whole day? We had like these cards that we held up. Someone drew
someone had bang and all that.
We had it. Someone drew a picture. I forget who it was. Someone on the floor drew a picture. It had a bang and it had a couple of other things on it. You just hold it up for the.
Yeah, I don't have that here. But yeah, good call there. They'll get it back up and running. So apologize for that. But okay. So just while that's been happening, Google, we've refreshed it. Let's see if Google wants to come back in to the downside. It's 340, so we are now 10 minutes away from the imbalances. And let's just see, what's looking good right now. Palantir does have a big sell on it. So does Shopify right now. These are from the broker there. We'll see what happens coming through. But for right now, we've got, look at that. Good out, man. Good out on NVIDIA, I feel like, right there, getting that. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, it just whipped to 718, so that's not bad. The best we could have got was basically the ultimate bottom is 713.80. So we will give up, $3 or so, let's just say, back up to the upside if we had somehow known that was that exact bottom. But we don't know that. So that's that. Looks like Google will be coming out very, very shortly. As the NASDAQ continues to go higher here, I feel like that imbalance was not good enough to do anything to this market. So
32 now.
Yeah, only 32 million, a very, very small imbalance there. My stop, though, on Google is just a break of 30s. So we're coming pretty close to that right now. It doesn't look like it wants to do anything here. So we'll short again, but it's not. Here we go. So a break too much higher than this, and we'll be out. We got stopped out of all of our shorts, which is fine. There it goes as the market battles back. We've done pretty good making some money back here today, but we did throw more away there on Google. But that's, we're able to get a little bit out and then stopped out at the end. Well worth the risk there as well. SMCI, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
There's a guy following SMCI down on the offer, by the way.
Oh, well, that would
maybe. So I was gonna update on
short AMD.
I was gonna update Rivian, but I just saw this on SMCI. I pulled it up, and it turned like it made this move to the upside, hit 92, and then someone showed up on the offer. They just got hit. So somebody sold 10,000 shares on SMCI, and for their sake, I hope they were covering along, because when this thing decides it wants to squeeze, it's just a squeeze name. 11% short float. You know what's going on with this. It's probably going to give you an 800 break tomorrow. Sometimes you just like really? This stock is in January. This is not January, this was $300. It's going to hit 800. If you think that's rational, then I got some magic beans for you if you're into them, and I'll trade you for an apple fritter. But I am at some point, and I'm talking about NVIDIA earnings or ARM's IPO, one of those two things is going to cause SMCI to drop to a couple $100. I don't know which one it's going to be, but one of those two, and it's got to be worth it on that kind of a day. And and that day, you're really going to want to have a wide stop on it and have yourself a stop because it can run faces over. We're going to go to the desk in a quick second. I've tightened up my stop to 1530 on Rivian. If it breaks out, it breaks out. If it doesn't, at least this can't turn into a loser. The only reason I went long here was the market was at a bottom and this was holding VWAP. I know it's down 5.5%, but higher lows the entire day on Rivian going into the close is the reason to at least look for a long. If you can find those kernels of strength, that's the reason to get into it. If you find the weakness, hang on to it until it proves otherwise, right? Like that's what we're trying to show you guys here today. And let's get to the desk and take care of some other way. IG-related business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, yeah, make sure you scan that QR code there on your screen. And thank you, Frank, for coming through one more time today. All right, so there it is. Oh, they're back up. So Travolta's like, oh, yeah, it's back up now? Okay, good. So there it goes right there. Nice little move there for NVIDIA. We got out there at 717 break. So that's the out on the 50-period moving average. There's the short on the 200. There's the out right there. We took our first out. Well, we took some outs as it came back in. We had to. Then we took a decent out right there on the 50-period moving average. And, I mean, all the rest, like all in all, these outs probably average out to right about there as well. So pretty happy with that take so far on that one. All right. After that, the only other thing I was thinking about was maybe getting into Google because we just came up to that 144.60 area right now. And yeah, what's up? I feel like we're under like investigation.
I know.
What exactly is on
ooh,
these
what's
people's
different?
desks right now? But no, Google coming up to the 200 here, that could be a short. We were waiting for this move into the 20 there. It didn't happen. Now we're going to have to wait for the 200 period moving average on Google. With only 15 minutes left in the day, I hope everyone's enjoying this minus 2% day in the NASDAQ.
Whoa.
So we'll see what happens now moving forward. But hey, look, man, we made a lot of money back just by NVIDIA and getting out there alone. Should have flipped over to the long, obviously, but there it goes, man. The market be bumping now.
The market's bumping, but I just thought we're talking about like preparing yourself for tomorrow. Disney strong, breaking out.
Love Disney.
General Electric taking out the high of the day. I like it. I like it a lot. I own this bad boy. GE Healthcare. I love healthcare, but I like United Health better, more than GE Healthcare. But GE, this is so steady Eddie. I don't know if there's a particular story, or maybe it's just you have some strength in less growthy type names and the money, there's some rotation going on, and when the market broke higher, this decided to break with it. I do like that. I can tell you one thing that is not bouncing. I thought maybe there would be time to short a pop back where we wanted it on Micron, but now that there's 13 minutes left, Micron is barely moving back to the upside. So I'm going to stay away from that. What's Mara doing? Mara heading...
Let me ask Patrick.
Oh, but Mara went well under VWAP there. 25,
NVIDIA.
bounce off 25 even. So I'm going to hang on to Rivian. That's the only long that we got here. Mara is definitely making a big move up. I see a lot of people talk about the Royale with cheese.
Right.
And all it's doing is making me hungry. I'm feeling like a burger tonight.
Are people feeling the Royale with cheese? Or?
I want a burger tonight. My daughter has swimming, so you know how I think when you have activities in the house, usually that's the day that we do something quick. So I can't get a Royale with cheese. Maybe I'll get like Harvey's or something, or I don't know, something nice.
You get a Harvey's with cheese?
Get an Angus burger.
Is Harvey's in the United States? I don't know.
Yeah?
No, I'm not
No,
sure.
is it? I
don't even really know how.
I don't know. Do
I don't know how to equate it to something else. Do I know? No, I literally just asked.
No, but hold on. But I don't know what you'd equate it to either. They do their they're like flame broiled burgers.
Yeah,
so
it's like a better version of like a Burger King maybe.
Yeah, like a better Burger King. That's the best way to put it.
Is that a good way of putting it? I don't know.
No, it is, because it's like real flame
take it.
broiled. Like it's not the same thing as making in the back, but it's snowing. There's no way I'm doing it. I know
It's
sometimes-
snowing now.
Yeah, it started snowing.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But it snowed like 3 times this year, so that's why I'm like, it's snowing now?
I've
What the-
shoveled once.
Yeah, me too. Once.
One time I've shoveled. It's amazing.
I had Michael Noss on yesterday, and he was like, oh yeah, we just got dumped again, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so anyways, that's out the East Coast right now of
They
Canada.
don't play around out there.
Yeah, no, that's a good workout, that snow. All right, just quickly there. I was watching out for NVIDIA. I don't really have that much. Oh, that was the update, was Palantir. So there's Palantir, we took it out. That's the update. I might as well get out. It looks like the TQ here. This is just running back. We don't have very much of anything now. The imbalances are coming out, and I guess they're gonna be buy side, as look at the NASDAQ right here at the 200 period. So if we break through 24, let's just get out. Oops, let's just get out of everything. I have to cancel my other offer right now on the TQQs. If this breaks above 56, let's just try 56.50. You know, if it breaks above that, we'll take a ho-hum $1.30. 56.50 or so on that, we'll get out. So there it is. The offer is now in on that to get out. And after that, man, there's not much else to do. It's been a good afternoon for sure. And let's just wait to see what happens into the close. It is hot around here. We do have HVAC being worked on. So.
Like when we came back on at 2 o'clock, it did cool down. Like we were complaining over the middle of the day, and it cooled right down. Everything was fine. And now it's getting, you know what it is? It's the market heated things up, right? The market showed you the action to the downside. Now the market's showing you the bounce to the upside. That friction, or there's probably a better scientific term for that, caused things to ratchet up. Friction? But look, let's be real. It is 349. The imbalances are going to come in. I'm expecting nothing burger, but you don't change the plan of action. That is in front of 350, tighten stops, take profits. If Rivian can't break 1540, it can't break 1540. There's your high. There's your high. Look at it for 5. This is a 3-minute chart, so 5 or 6 minutes it's been holding that high. Just get out on the offer. I'm going to hold the last piece, tighten the stop up a couple cents again, and then see if it can't keep going to the upside. But as I mentioned, we're getting the imbalances in just about 15 seconds. The two big ones on the early look were Shopify 1.5 to sell, and Palantir was $1 million to buy. It's now 600,000. So I'm going to be watching those two. I think probably Shopify is more interesting after the earnings, but you're always just guessing. I don't know what it's going to come out as. So Shop does come out 1.5 to sell. It's exactly what was expected, so not a big deal. Pfizer, $1 million to sell, but that's Pfizer. It'll pair off. What else we got here going on? None of the big names just yet. Don't really see anything. And the big one's over $1 million. Apple, there we go. Apple came in just a second ago. 1.1 million to buy on Apple.
Ooh.
So that's the biggie. Still scrolling down here for you guys. And Uber, that's small for Uber, 500,000. Snapchat, that's nothing. Amazon, 500,000 is not that big. Apple's the big one today in the buy and balance. We'll have a quick look to see if it even did anything. My guess is it barely moved. Yeah, it barely moved. You got like maybe 20 cents on that, but Apple was already bouncing off the lows.
Okay, so the Qs came back a little bit there. I'm just going to take a bit if I can instead of worrying about the stop out up there at 56.50. There it is right there, so let's go. That was $1.50, so we can hit the dollar club for that, or a little bit more than that, so that's pretty good. Now let's start to cancel. So what we do now is just basically cancel like pretty much all of the stop orders that we had out there. So right now Google is 10 cents in the money. We reloaded that up there at the 50 period. We talked a little bit about that. Now we had a couple outs, but it's coming back in. There it is, breaking down through 50. So we like that trade for us there on Google. But yeah, we have some big earnings coming through at the end of the day, so stay tuned for that. Right now, Google hopefully will make a move back. Yeah, Robinhood should be a big one. Back in on the downside there for Google. So yeah, man. Good day for sure. ARM is sinking today's low, as people say in the chat. And yes, there it goes.
ARM is not going over the top.
No, it is going under for sure.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good one. Sly Stallone.
I love it.
Here it comes back in as well. Look at it pulling off of the 200 period moving average.
Top 10 dad movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
Look
because
at
he has
this
his
thing.
daughter, right, in that one.
No, it's a son. But it's the same thing. It's like I know it's an arm wrestling movie, but if you're a parent, specifically a father, you'll get it if you watch it. Like it's a very, very good. Like it's kind of like Field of Dreams, man. Like every time I watch that, I'm like, yo, Dad, you want to go play catch or something? But I like that movie. ARM is nasty to the downside, and I feel like why is it impossible for this to maybe test 100? It's not even as big a move as it did today. Like it would take less of today to maybe retest the 100 level. And just to remind you why I'm saying 100, I'm not pulling that out of my you-know-what, but the 100 level on this dip here, almost on a dime, and then you had the secondary rip on ARMs. 100 is a big psychological level. Rivian just came out, so it's probably the trail. Rivian held the bottom, but it was the higher lows that made me look for the long. But let's not forget, Rivian held this consolidation low, and it is just teetering on the precipice of failing this $15 level. If that happens, you got bottoms at 13. This level's 13, but really, that's not even the 52-week low. Check that. The 52-week low was underneath $12 on Rivian. So if it fails the $15 level, you've got like 20-something% that this could still continue to fall, down 6% today. Why it held up in the afternoon, I have no idea. That doesn't even make any sense to me. To me, an EV name, when the market does this, EV name shouldn't be up, but this one is what it is.
You want to know what else frustrating? Look at this on Tesla here today. You know, here's the short. So again, we were about 10 minutes away from that. Like we had 186, got out at like 186.50 into like some of this pre-market garbage there. All we had to do was wait for some of this pre-market stuff, and then it was like, anyways, that's trading, and that's what it is. All right, a little bit of money made back there on Google. You're not gonna be able to see, these charts have too many wicks, but there it is. There's a nice tick down there in the 40s. You're now up here near 70. Just probably gonna get this out, man. I mean, it's 3:54. I got to go over to the desk, so we'll figure out what's gonna be happening.
Apparently
here
we missed Nuke.
with
this is a great ticker
with Google. All right, there we go. Google should be out anyways. 144.72. Ah, it didn't break. Okay, that's what's going to get. You know what? What am I doing? Who cares? Let's see if we get a 67 print here or a 72 print. Either way, we're just going to get out. We got to wrap this up. So there it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, cancel all of our orders. Right now, cancel all of our stop orders. I just got that out there. I mean, it doesn't. We only had 20% left of what we had. So there it is. Let's just figure out what's going on with this one, and then we'll figure it out. So Google downside right now, I would think. We do have big earnings coming with Robinhood, with ARM, not with ARM.
No, it's Airbnb.
Can you imagine ARM? Airbnb, and then what else did I write down here? Upstart.
Oh, Upstart. Upstart.
I was thinking Affirm, which is why I said ARM, but it's Upstart. So I'm going to go get locked and loaded. So thanks again for watching. Again, pretty violent day, but we did bounce off that 2% mark. So we'll watch out for tomorrow in and around 17.6. Look at that. Nice move. And the move all started basically at 3:30, and that was when we got that imbalance being to the buy side. So we got to consider that. The next time we have a big move down, we have to figure that out too. Lots and lots. Corsair reporting. There's going to be lots. So I'm going to flip over there and get ready to rock and roll. It should be a fun earnings day.
So one of the reasons we'll single out some names is when the market recap show, Sean's going to talk about the ones that are moving the most. Not necessarily, like Pepsi comes out. I'm using Pepsi as an example, not because they report or anything. But if Pepsi comes out and moves 50 cents or 0.5%, you can look at that anytime you want. If something's actually going, that's what you want to sink yourself into. And as a trader, when you prepare in the morning, you want to prioritize the names that are going to give you the biggest opportunity, which means volatility. That's why we care about Upstart tomorrow morning. I probably don't care about it in any other context. But I want to say this Nuke stock, I don't know if I pronounce it Nuke, but it's N-U-K-K. Shout out to anyone that went long this stock. I mean, I don't know necessarily the story. It's going to close on the highs. Just be very careful here with N-U-K-K. This is a very familiar story, I think, for anybody, where you get a Huadunk and then a dollar retrace. It's getting into some, $2 to $3 is an obvious area of resistance. It looks like it wants to close on those highs. No one ever went broke taking profit. I imagine there's some people long this around the $1 level. Always great if you can catch it breaking out from $1, because then it's really easy to figure out the risk to reward. Again, I don't know the name of the company. I just like calling it Nuke because it's a great ticker. Tesla, that's actually holding this 182 again. I'm just going to, on my iPad tomorrow is probably just going to say Tesla 182. And it's going to say Rivian 15. Those are obvious ones. It's going to say Disney, think long until proven otherwise. I'm going to write the entire sentence, but it's going to be something like that. Disney just continues to rally. High of the day, 1% into a weak market, into a potential breakout on the daily chart. What's there not to like? Whether it wins or loses, it's about looking for the opportunity, because that's the kind of setup. If I see that setup and it's relatively strong on a bad day, then that's the kind of breakout that I want to have. I want something that's strong for the breakout trade, not something that's, oh, look at that, it's a dog at the low of the day today, unless it's a high short float. So you got to be very careful. If you can be with the trend, then that's the best way to go as a trader. So shout out to everyone that brought up that Nuke stock. Maybe we'll see if it can do something tomorrow, but way too late in the day for a low float name like that. You should be setting up things for tomorrow. I've canceled all my stop orders. We got a couple of minutes to go. We'll be pretty happy with the way the day went. It took a lot of patience today and a lot of trying not to fight the grain. And remember what I said about AMD? Can we come to this chart? Because when NVIDIA was making lower lows and you saw Sean holding on to the trade, okay, it makes another couple of dollars down and another couple of dollars down, goes 6, 8, 10. AMD was just holding on to a support level. Clear as day. Now, whether or not you go long there, it's enough to just not short it. It's enough to not go short on AMD in a situation like this. Whether you like the long, that's one thing. But if you've got a very clear defined support level and a stock which is showing relative strength to its peers in the moment, which is what AMD is doing, then that's not the one you want to pick on short. You want to short things that are weak. Weak stock, short it. NVIDIA, weak stock, short it. I mean, obviously it's going to end up bouncing now, but a little bit weaker, failing under VWAP and continuing to roll lower, broke support levels and continue to go lower. AMD, maybe it's still in a bit of a reversal, but I'm going to mark off 169 for myself as we go into the last minute of the day. There were a couple of imbalances. Had there been something to it on that 77 on Shopify, maybe we take a shot at that. But the reason I said 77 should be relatively obvious, and I think it should be on our radar tomorrow. We love day 2 and day 3 earnings plays. 77 once at the open, 77 here at the close. Shop's going to be SSR tomorrow. If it holds 77, it's not that complicated. All you need to see is it hold that at the open, and you go for the SSR bounce on day 2. So you got day 2 plays there. Maybe there'll be something over in Datadog, but I'm less sure about that. I'd say it's like a much higher probability there's a trade in Shopify that I'd sink myself into as opposed to Datadog. But the countdown is on. It's a hot day for earnings. It's hot in the studio, and Adara is about to ring that bell in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. And the market's closed. It's going to be a red day, but the market did bounce. NASDAQ was over 2% down. We're now 1.6% to the downside. The ES only 1.4%. Good bounce on the ES, 30 points there. But the relative strength was Disney, Eli Lilly, Oracle was another good one there, so you want to watch out for those tomorrow. We got a host of earnings to go for the recap show, but I want to give a big shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s, getting animations back up, doing a great job as always. The midday, you just saw Adara, the professor, also kicking it, doing a great job over there. Shout out to Frank Caberna for coming through. This time he didn't rally the markets, but he certainly dropped some knowledge with Brendan at the desk. You know who I am, and you know where you're headed. It's a market recap show. You've got Robinhood. Upstart, probably more important. Airbnb, and a host of other earnings with the market recap show. And if you don't, well, first of all, you're all tuning into it. But hey, if Robinhood moves too fast and you need a recap, you can always check it out later on in the day or in the morning when you're prepping. There's a lot to go over. Let's get on to the desk. More earnings on a wild, wild Tuesday.
The board is quite red today, needless to say. Wow, what a crazy day it was right now. We are now halted on Upstart. Upstart has just halted its damn self right now. On Benzinga right here, trade halt. Halted at 4:01, news pending. I think Upstart a couple of earnings ago, their earnings were leaked or something like that. So I feel like maybe they've done that on purpose. Let's just wait to see here. Again, a company can always request this. And so if it's news pending, obviously earnings are news pending. So we'll wait to hear what happens with Upstart. But now that's on my radar. AKAM, you just saw Akamai, the big name, coming back into 112. That's to the downside. What's up with Corsair? You can see at the side, first of all, new rundown today. You like? That's what we're doing. Shout out to Real Trading, new sponsor. Let's go. It's Corsair to the downside right now. Here's Corsair. Corsair Gaming revenues a little light, what they're seeing. Also, Corsair missing on their EPS, missing on their sales. Corsair, boom, it's to the downside. There goes 12 bucks on Corsair. Akamai, AKAM, downside as well. Apparently a miss over there with Akamai, also down into 112. Man, oh man, I just tweeted something out today. Check out this stat, just tweeted out. More than 250 billion. Ciao on the Mag 7s lost today in market cap. Do you understand that 250 billion is more than the market cap of pretty much every single name combined of what we'll see reporting right here? Not a good day today for the NASDAQ. But anyways, nice move down. Obviously, we did have a big day today with the CPI coming through. So let's just take a quick look at the triple Qs. A shout out to Michael Noss, shorting TQQs yesterday by going long the SQs. We just shorted the TQQs today. That was a good trade. As soon as more earnings come in, I'm going to have them. I've got it in my ear. Shout out to Benzinga today. Anything hits, we've got it. Brendan, what was up today? Not much. Oil slightly up, 0.7 right now. My tank is aight. My tank is aight. So we'll have to put some more gas in there soon. But oil upside today. And uh-oh, the US dollar. Look at this move off the bottom for the US dollar, right? UUP here. This is Invesco's US dollar ETF. Huge move back up today. Definitely hitting from those bottoms. Robinhood is out. right now. Robinhood, nice move to the upside. Reporting, I'm hearing in my ear, about 3 cents of earnings. I'm going to double check that. Robinhood right now, nice move to the upside. Could be taking out some of those highs. Robinhood's estimate, -1 penny. Nice revenue number coming for Robinhood. Robinhood. Remember when I said I preferred Robinhood to SoFi? Robinhood making a move back up. Let's see what's happening here to SoFi though. So Robinhood up here taking out highs. SoFi saying, uh-oh, we're not Robinhood. Robinhood upside. I like Robinhood because of the user base. We talked about the user base on Robinhood. As soon as I see it, I'm hearing it in my ear, but I don't have the stats yet for Robinhood. We're also waiting for Upstart, which is up halted right now, but not doing anything. So there's Robinhood right now. I don't know how many of you took SoFi v. Robinhood, but Robinhood right now upside and making that move, trying to get back to 52-week highs where, of course, SoFi is nowhere near. Robinhood, 1328 is what we're looking at, 1310. Look where Robinhood stops, man. Right there, 1360 at those highs. Airbnb is now, forget it, out. We've got breaking news on Airbnb. I guess Brendan's account not mattering as we go down to the downside rate. You stayed in Airbnb lately? Nah, summer you did, I think. That was a long time ago, summer. Oh, the summer doesn't seem too far away. Geez, it's February. Okay, there it is, Airbnb. Oh no, they did hear about Brendan. There goes Airbnb to the upside. Airbnb Rip City. Look, this is a name that we're in down here near 120, but it's from here. It's from a while ago. It's not from pretty recently. There it goes. It's Airbnb to the upside. As soon as we get it, we'll get it to you. And guess what else is out? Oh my gosh, are we having fun yet or what? It is Lyft. Lyft is now out. Lyft right now, not a great cover here for Lyft. I'm also hearing Denny's is out. I give thumbs down to that restaurant, so I'm not covering it. I will when I get a second. There it is, Lyft right now. Inline sales. We're going to find out. I don't see the actual number for Lyft, but right now Lyft is starting to head to the upside. So what does that mean for our French friend Uber? Right now, of course, it's not French. Uber pulling off of that, not moving around. Geez, we are getting a lot coming through right now, guys. There it is right now. Lyft coming through. Corsair. Let's just go back and check. And first of all, welcome to everybody that's here. I haven't even had a chance to load up the thing. It's GoDaddy. Hello. That name is now out. GoDaddy out. And yeah, not moving around a little bit. I'm going to load up YouTube so I can say hi to everybody. But what a fun day it's been today. Wow, we had over 300 trades in the open market, including the bangers here on NVIDIA. I actually still wound up down on NVIDIA. Okay, Robinhood today. There's NVIDIA. I just want to see if NVIDIA was moving in the aftermarket. It is not. Is ARM moving in the aftermarket? It is not. What is Robinhood doing right now? Taking out 52-week highs. Oops, that's HHOD. You're so much in the hood, you're HHOD in the hood. 1250 right now coming back in for Robinhood. So again, look what happens. Remember I said, and I wasn't playing around. Being here on the After Hours show, first of all, traders stay late, and I got to thank all of you for staying late with us. What I was getting at was just seeing like stocks run up to 52-week highs and then back down. It's making me think that when you have stocks that you're like a little bit shady about on earnings, maybe you do want to put what Neil and I will call, we call them kind of stink bids, but in this situation, it's just offers that are kind of at levels that you don't mind getting involved with. I remember when we had Brian Shannon on, who's going to come on hopefully pretty soon, he nailed that NVIDIA bottom, which was like 470, which now seems crazy because it's at 720, but sometimes you do have to have those bids or offers out to make sure you're good. Hey, what's up, Why Brothers, man? Oh, 300 trades means I'm addicted? Yeah. Hello. Am I addicted? Yeah, like I've already been called patient zero and basically been threatened that if I even have a runny nose, I'm never to come into the office. I don't remember, you know, I can't stop coming in. It has nothing to do with the amount of trades. I could make 10 trades, but I am still addicted to the market. And let's just be honest. Who else you want sitting here? You want someone that can go over the market, talk about it with you. I'm glad to be joining you guys. That's the whole point of Trader TV Live. We roll out traders, man. Brendan Trader, Neil, Adara, Sharif, myself, Obi, everybody that's been on the show, man. I am a trader for life. You know how long I've been here? 22 damn years, and hopefully not going anywhere. All right, thank you for the roll call there as well. More trades are out right now. I'm hearing in my ear, Upstart is now out. Upstart is out. They did halt the name. Let's find out why. It's still halted. So Upstart not moving, but I have the numbers. Who else has them for you? There it is. Upstart minus 11 cents, beating minus 14 cents. Bang. Upstart though, where's the other point? Upstart, oops, that's well. Where's Upstart? There it is. Upstart right here. So beating, reportedly loss of 11 cents, beating 14 cents. Also, losses increased year over year. That is fine. Reported quarterly sales of 140, which beats 134. So now we wait for the guide for Upstart. To me, the top and bottom are both beats. We'll wait to see what happens with Upstart now. Halted. Upstart is halting. Hey, I see everybody saying they're here. It ain't roll call yet. You're going to hear that in a couple minutes. Instacart is out right now. Let's Instacart. See ya. You want to talk about a bad IPO. Instacart down, breaking lower. Watch out for the 52-week low break here in CART. 22.36 for CART. It is now out. That is Instacart now out. So that's going to be a good little pull there for Instacart. What else? There's so many names hitting right now. Robinhood grows balances from 142 subscribers, growing it. That's nice to see, obviously. There's Denny's. What's up, Denny's? 14 cents misses. Sorry. Sales miss. Sorry. Look, for me, I don't have any hate to Denny's. Obviously, I do a little bit. I just, for breakfast, man, I like to support the local places. Denny's, obviously not local. Denny's to the downside. I'm going to find out if my good friend Brian Shannon likes Denny's. Denny's right now, not the stock, the food. Down to the downside right there. All right, there's so much happening, guys. Upstart still halted, but Upstart was a nice beat. So we're going to wait to see what Upstart has for us. Lyft, again, Lyft. Look at, wow, bang, 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 Lyft. Maybe, Brian, if you're listening, let's go over some Lyft if you don't have anything, because Lyft right now is starting to go back up to the upside. Lyft right now trying to take out some levels. The 52-week high for Lyft, does this go back? Yeah, this is pretty close. This is a year ago today. A year ago today, Lyft goes from $18 all the way down to 10. So Lyft gets absolutely clocked a year ago, down 40%. What a difference a year makes. Today, Lyft up 17%. Same quarter, different result. There's Lyft. There's the tick up here. 14.45, going insane right now for Lyft. So congratulations on that. The latest note that I have here on Lyft is just gross bookings higher, so that's nice. Gross bookings up 17%. But again, we saw this story. We saw this story with Uber. We actually broke it down on the podcast. Hey, if you're part of Hydration Nation, I need some now, so join me. Wow, man, we're putting in some work today, guys. A lot of busyness happening in this market. Airbnb, we talked about them being out as well. I can't even go over the market, which was insane right now because we have so many earnings. Airbnb, nice out as well. Guess what? It's another one taking out 52-week highs and making new highs right now. Airbnb upside. But look at this, man. We've been talking about weakness in this market for a while. Okay, today, sort of the shorts came in. We had been worrying about some of these upside down moves. We talked about the relative strength, equal weighted, right? That was starting to pull in. Obviously, we were high yesterday, but if the NASDAQ gives back and you start to lose the Mag 6, we're throwing Tesla out. Shout out to Jim Cramer. He was kind of the guy that sort of did that. But my guest coming up right now, oh, I see him. He's Hydration Nation right now. I saw that, Brian. But no, Brian has not been a fan of Tesla for a while, so I got to give credit where credit's due on that one. But right now, the RSP is trying to fade down a little bit here. We'll have to see if there's some problems in the hood. We talked about yesterday, not problems with Robinhood today as that's spiking up, but we saw yesterday here Microsoft, and I'm trying to figure out where our traders going to buy this name back up. Look what they did at the end of the day. They rallied this thing back up. So today may have just sort of been like that monolith, like we'll have to see if there's going to be another day like today following that CPI. Now, we had a good data print today, right? See, not good, but CPI goes from 2.9 expected up to 3.1, and then we get the pushback. You know what? Let's call up CME Fed rate tools just to see exactly before we call up. I mean, when we have guests like we did yesterday, we had Michael Noss on yesterday talking all about the SQs and going short on the NASDAQ. Obviously, we prompted that. Look at this. Here we go. So, coming through for March of 2024, if you thought you were getting a rate cut, fail. This used to be almost 50-50, man. No more. So let's check out May. So right now we're at 5.25, 5.50. It looks like we've pushed out the rate cut, possibly a 1/3 chance that it comes in May right now. And again, this is not what the Fed is saying. This is the market expectations, right? The Fed has sort of said that they're going to be data dependent. Today's data not helping the argument for a rate cut, which is why the market goes down. But finally, I thought it was June. So yeah, June, we're about 50% for that half. And then as we go on, it just continues down the road. So if you talk about it going into December, we're looking at pretty much a 30% chance that we're down about 100 from where we are today, right? So right now we're at this 525 to 550. If you push it out to December, which is the end of the year, then we're looking at about 30% chance, roughly, that we're down about 175 to 100 bips from here. So again, the market pulled back all the way, and now we're going to have to figure out what is going down right now. So, all right, man, all is well in this. Upstart to resume trading. We're just getting that note right now as we will go to Michael Noss. I'm getting that from Brendan. Upstart in and around 4:35, resume trading for Upstart. But let's just see if we have any sort of a note from Benzinga here about Upstart. GoDaddy, Airbnb, everything seems to be pretty good. Ooh, AIG, remember that name? AIG reporting $1.79. This insurance beast, wow, what a monster this has been. Straight upside. There it goes. Now AIG starting to go. Nicely done, taking out again 52-week highs. If you guys thought that there was strength in the market and you wanted to get a little bit of coverage, especially in the insurance, you can look to Berkshire. Berkshire, big holdings through financials and through some insurance names. And then you also get the exposure with Apple as well and some tech names in Berk B. Are we ready? Yep. Then we wait no longer. Let's go. Whoo, Mr. Shannon, what a wild day. I know me and you have been talking about trimming or, you know, potentially this kind of a day coming through. Can you break it down a little bit? What were you thinking today? It was a pretty hot CPI number. Basically, let's talk about this market. Nice pullback, only 2 sectors green today. Wow. And we have the US dollar and then oil, not much else.
Oil is right up against this anchor from last year's high in the same place we failed previously, which was also a big level of support the last quarter of last year that became resistance November and December and so far this year. So it's a pretty pivotal place, and oil has put in a higher low as well. So maybe something's going to get going there, Sean.
Maybe. You know what, Brian? I got to give a big shout to you because today in our chat, I saw so many traders talking to me. Google's going to break its yearly anchored VWAP, like all of these stocks. So traders are definitely taking, I'm going to say bang for this one, because I know you and I are very proud of the risk management techniques that we use on a day-to-day basis. So is there anything right now that's sort of catching your eye? I feel like pullbacks in the market are healthy. Was today maybe too much? Anything you want to discuss?
No, I don't think it's too much at all. It could be the beginning of a little bit deeper correction, which I wouldn't mind at all. This is 1 day down. We've been up, I think I've read somewhere, 14 days in a row or something like that. And pretty much all of them record highs. So a little bit of a pullback, no one should be scared of. We've been raising stops and managing risk along the way. So the one thing that tells me it's not ready to go in there and buy the dip is we're below that 5-day moving average. And that 5-day moving average, you can see this little area here. That is the data from 5 days ago. So tomorrow we get rid of that, meaning if the market is below this level here, that 5-day moving average will continue to decline like this tomorrow. So even if we get a rally up towards here, I would be suspect of it possibly doing this. And that's one possibility. The other thing is it could just ramp higher once again and take the bears off guard. But right now, I'm super light in this market. Most stocks have broken key near-term levels from my trading time frame, which is a swing trader. So I'm in no hurry right now, Sean, and just doing a little bit of day trade scalping here and there.
Yeah, we really scalped today NVIDIA. Like, I mean, we were liking that short in and around 725. And actually here, come over to my screen for a second, and we'll give Brian a second here to maybe load up NVIDIA, because I do want to talk about it. It is something that I look at every single day. And again, I'm a madman with trades. I don't expect anybody, unfortunately we have some wicks here. But what I was doing was basically shorting in and around here, 725, 726, looking for pullbacks in. We had a huge move down in underneath 700 earlier today, Brian. And I'm a little nervous. What are we doing about this 730 level? Is there any anchors that maybe you would use now on an NVIDIA? Of course, a lot of our viewers have trade ideas and some platforms that also use the anchored VWAP. So what can we talk about here with NVIDIA? I'm looking short all the time. What does it say on your books here with NVIDIA?
Well, we're still in a big uptrend. We're still holding above that rising 5-day moving average. We came right down to the anchor from the gap on the 5th. That's right here. Touched that first thing in the morning as it undercut the 5-day moving average. We rallied up. Here's the week to date 2-day volume weighted average price. I still see a giant uptrend that slowed down a little bit here today, and I don't see any signs of a top yet. Doesn't mean it can't break down. I would think that breaking below this level, which is where we saw a little bit of resistance, turn support and support again. So 695-ish, that might be a key level, that if we break down below there and get stuck below it, then we might see a deeper sell-off down towards, let's say, the year-to-date anchor, which would bring it all down towards 610. Perfect. That's just a scenario. It's definitely not a call. I'm not trading it to the short side right here. So I'm kind of hands off on NVIDIA for now.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. It's been quite a crazy day. Also, one of our top stocks, especially here on the floor, has been ARM. I don't know if you've seen that, but a name that's like 90 times sales or whatever it was up there at 160, that seems a little inflated to me. We just had a very interesting situation, Brian. I can't remember the last time a stock halted before they released earnings. Can you remember a name?
I don't pay as close attention to it as you do, so I would say it's probably pretty rare then, Sean. Which one was that?
So here we had was Upstart, and if you look over here on my screen, if I could call Upstart up for you as well, Brian, because they're now halted. And what we had was earnings being quite nice here for Upstart, beating all over the place. If I can actually find it, here it is right here. 11 cents, still red though, but beating a negative 14, sales beating. And then of course, we've all seen sort of its brother with a firm, or sister, I don't know, make that move back up to the upside and then hit 50 on earnings and then fall back in about 25% back down to 40. So for me, for Upstart, again, let me see this. I would probably draw an anchored VWAP maybe down here to where we were back mid-November off that bottom, or maybe even somewhere near the top. But Upstart also, Brian, has a 41% short float. So this is going to be a very, very interesting name to trade. It's resuming in and around 435. Are there any levels? Because Brian, I gave you credit when we had you on NVIDIA a while ago. You said, well, if it falls down, maybe. And again, these are all maybe. These are just areas of interest. You nailed that 470, and I was like, what? And then now NVIDIA's up at 720. So give me some magic here on Upstart, Mr. Shannon.
I'm not sure there's any magic here. Let's just take a look at common sense and go back and take a look at, for instance, the anchor from this. Oops, sorry to first. Let's just go over here and do it on a 1 day so it's not as scrolly there. You can see this big gap down over a year ago. Okay. And that's what kind of killed all the momentum in this stock for a while. We're just holding above the anchor from that right now. We're also holding this thick blue line was the anchor from the beginning of last year. This green one is this year's anchor. We've got a rising 50, 200-day moving average. So then we've got to go back and say, how is it in relation to this? Well, from that high we saw in December, we found sellers there 2 days ago. And if we can blast up through there, I think the next level to look at Well, we're above that as well. So I think you've got to look higher and maybe look at the anchor from the all-time high. And maybe we're going to be headed for, a run up towards this level, 50 and change. Who knows what's going to happen, whether we're going to gap down or gap up. I really don't, play the guesses on there. But if it can break free of this high, then we've got some pretty green or blue skies rather ahead, where it could be a good trender for the next 3-6 months or so.
Yeah, I feel like that is that's a good point regarding where we think this is potentially going. I mean, once the number comes out, we don't really have an idea. So thank you so much for going over those levels. Do you remember a name that we talked about last week? There's a mouse involved, and then there's also some Jedis and things like that. And the name, of course, as I see it on your screen, as we all kind of laugh about it, it's Disney. And we talked about that. This was a name that I brought up to your attention, and I was like, you know what, man, we are long down here in and around $90. We asked for your opinion on this. You actually confirmed and gave me sort of the, I don't know, not the gumption's the wrong word, sort of, I want to say kind of like the balls to hold on to this. And then there it goes, the confirmation right back there up to the upside, Disney. Now, my question for you is, we held on, we bought this, we like this name. I'm not loving the business, but or maybe we're getting extended a little bit right here. Any thoughts about what we're seeing on Disney? Again, a negative day in the market and Disney's still up that 1%. For me, relative strength, Brian, is exactly the kind of stuff that I look for. Disney appears to be strong and saying, what market move? I like Disney up here at 110. You think it's getting to a sell spot, or what do we think about Disney, and where should I be concerned?
I think you've got to, look at the intraday time frame for the last 4 or 5 days since that earnings report, and we're holding on. I mean, we haven't dipped below the opening print, right? So that's very bullish. We've had these little higher lows. We've got that rising 5-day moving average. I think if it breaks back below the opening print from the earnings, maybe it gives back a little bit. But so far, it's just correcting through time, letting that 5-day moving average catch up to it. And I see a bullish trend here, really. So maybe it's going to make a move for the next bigger level here on the weekly time frame up near this 115 level.
Okay, yeah, so good. All right, so I'm pretty happy about that. I like looking at that as, hey, if it doesn't break that little bottom that you just mentioned there, why are we even concerned about it? I think you're right. Just really quickly, just as we had talked about, I don't think Upstart is open yet, but they actually, it looks like they may have guided here not good. Upstart sees Q1 revenue 125 versus 151. Brian, as you know, you cannot be considered a growth company and guide lower. So I feel like they are going to get, UPST is going, in my opinion, this could be those downside sort of targets, maybe here on UPST. Let me just check again. And this is why traders stay late, Brian, because we're going to look at a firm. A firm, I guess, gets a little bit of wind of that, starts to move down as well. So UPST could be in trouble with a downside move. I know you have it up, but I wanted to look at one more name here, Brian, before I let you go. It's getting close to 4:30. And I actually have a dentist appointment that was rescheduled from like 3 weeks ago. That's at 4:45, so I got to get over there. But thank God, it's just, do you like the dentist?
Who does? No one.
No, I actually don't mind it. Because you know why I don't mind it?
I'm not really a fan of Denny's either.
Yes, bang, all right. So when you come to Toronto, we will not be visiting Denny's. But no, I actually like, because we're so busy that I finally get like a 45 minutes to sit back, relax, and just let the dentist do their work. But yeah, okay, Lyft. Lyft doesn't even have a red candle here. Brian, in the after hours, they've just gone from 12, so they're having their meta moment. We talked about, if you sort of closed your eyes and went to sleep for a year, that's not a good thing, but Lyft was at $18 and it cracked down to 10 and has seen lows. But guess what? We're almost all the way back there. Lyft, huge. I don't know what Uber's doing right now, but to me, Uber's going up as well, obviously. Uber looking to take out 52-week highs as well. But Lyft right now, Brian, that was a huge move up. Anything about Lyft that maybe we could have seen before this? I don't know. It definitely seems like a bottom there and in around $10, but Lyft continues to get lifted per se.
It was behaving well. I mean, it was holding right around that year-to-date anchor, and now it looks like it's probably headed for a test of the anchor off of the high from 2021. So it's probably headed towards $20 a share, it looks like to me.
Yeah, not only does Lyft there hold that number, but also guiding higher, talking about, again, more rides, gross booking. I'm just reading it, gross bookings up, everything going well. All right, one more question. We do have something on the show here. I don't know if you can well, you can probably overlay, obviously, but Robinhood v. SoFi. Like, so Robinhood right now is just taking out pretty much, I mean, not pretty much, it is taking out their 52-week high and in and around there right now, ticking over this 1325 level. There's always talk on the show. What stock do we like better? Is it going to be Robinhood? Is it SoFi? So right now, Robinhood, again, with a short float of 8%, and they're both relatively new, obviously, banking type names, investment, portfolio, managing as far as holding on to people's, well, we know what they are. I'm just reading what it says here. Manufacturing, reproducing, magnetic, and optical. That's Robinhood? Okay. That's probably not right, throwing me off. But right now, their current market cap, $10 billion. SoFi's current market cap, it's something similar, $8 billion right now with similar short floats. SoFi not doing the dance at all like Robinhood is. SoFi stuck in the middle, Robinhood breaking out. I prefer Robinhood. Are we like-minded here?
We are in agreement. If you look at that longer term chart, it looks like if it can, sustain this move, it's headed for a test of the anchor from the IPO, which would head up towards about 1675. Whereas SoFi, it's still stuck in a range.
Yeah.
It just looks like dead money. Whereas this one, it's on its way. The horse is left. Bet on that one.
All right, Brian Shannon, we just covered a bunch of names. Was there anything before letting you go? Any trade that you're sort of really believing in right now or looking at or debating entering? There's probably a whole bunch of them, but we've talked about CRISPR before. Maybe that's something that's still on your mind as well in the therapeutic area, but any other names just for some viewers that may be seeing you for the first time?
Well, CRISPR has obviously behaved well. The other one, Sean, I'm surprised you didn't mention, IBIT.
Oh yeah, the
that was
one, that's
last
right.
week. Remember that? It was
that's
just
right.
breaking.
I remember that. What are you looking at now? Great break,
beauty.
50,000. IBIT 6 straight days up. Congratulations on that play because you were all over it. Getting exhausted a bit?
I don't know. I mean, I took some off yesterday. I own the physical. I own Bitcoin, so I sold some at 49.6, I think it was. Thinking, we're at this round number. I only sold a third, so I'm just going to raise my stop. I'm not a hodler, but there's, bullish flows still coming into these via these ETFs. So I'm going to try to hold Bitcoin for a little bit longer here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point in that. And I know one ETF you're not going to be into. That's ARKB.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Run by the wealth destroyer.
Down with ARKB and Kathy Wood. Okay, always such a great time. Thank you so much. I mean, this is why traders stay late. It's because we can have such great traders like you on. Let me just reach over here and get this. This is it right here. Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much for joining. And are you doing anything that you want to address with our audience? Where can they find you? Anything like that?
You've got it right there at the bottom of the screen. You guys got it all covered.
Perfect.
So.
At Alpha Trends.
Great.
The only problem is I got to change that little Twitter guy over to an oh, it's happening. Okay, I just heard that's happening. So next time, promise we'll get that fixed out. Go find Brian over there on X. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Sean.
That's Trader Talk. Ooh-wee doggy. Yeah, wow, what a great day, man. The sticky note was huge today. You guys can go find it. We were nailing those shorts all day. We do not even have a long idea on the sticky note. So we turned that bull into a bear yesterday morning. My worst trade yesterday was short the Qs. My best trade today was short the Q. Well, we had other trades, but a great trade today was short the Qs off that top. Go find me at Trader TV Sean. We nailed that. We were short 17.8. Today on the NASDAQ. So we watched that thing go all the way to the basement and finish near, off the lows, but we still like it. Look, man, more pain coming. Unfortunately, I have to go. Do you guys want to wait around for one more minute and check out what Upstart's going to do? 4:35 is when we get that going. So we'll stay around. Let's stay around because you know why? It's roll call time. So let's find out who's staying around to find out these Upstart earnings with me. who's here and who is not. You're going to see Upstart hopefully in a minute or so just load up right here. So I'm going to push this over just to find out who's here. I'm a little bit nervous about Upstart. Oh, we see Yylin saying $23. And by the way, thank you to everybody. We're not going anywhere. I'm just saying hi. What's up to Why Not? AVWAB had me at hello. Okay, good. What's up to D. Mr. Westermeyer? Cute puppies here. Everyone saying thanks to Brian. Thank you, Brian, for sure. Your real Canadian future awaits. Okay, I like that. What's up to Rock Doc? Nathan Wilder's here. Obviously, Mr. Westermeyer's here. Mo Fun is here. I like that one. There, look at this name. I like this. Where is that name? Mo Fun was here. I lost it. D-Rob is here. Joe Causey is here. Prania. What's up, Prania? He's here at Pranyaya. Sorry about that. Stan Cho is here. Luke Waters here. Balance is here. We're waiting. We only have now less than 1 minute, and we'll see Upstart. So let's just look at it daily. I'm going to move this over here just so everyone can see themselves on. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, D-Rob? I love you too, Sebastian. John Knox is here. What's up, Katina Man? Yeah, what's up? That's me. Okay. We're going to wait up for Upstart. If Upstart breaks 20, see you later. I don't know. They guided lower, but they beat on the Q. So where's going to happen with Upstart? Honestly, man, my dentist is calling in just a couple of seconds. I got to get out of here, but we're going to stay. Thankfully, my dentist is just next door. Upstart, there it is. It's open. Upstart right now, 29.51 and starting to go lower, 28.88. Let's see where Upstart bounces from. So here we go. We're only down here. We're at support for Upstart, but will it go to the downside? You guys want to see what a crazy trading looks like live? UPST. Now, it might be down. Here's Upstart on a live level 2 for you right now. Our charts may not work, but this is what Upstart's doing. 28.80, 29.30. This is what a live level 2 looks like on earnings. So here's Upstart. Back up to 30. It's trying to hold. Look at that. It was just 30. Down to 28.70. This is liquidity. This is who else shows you this? You tell me who else shows you this, and I send you a Trader TV Live hat. Okay, deal? Go follow me at Trader TV Sean and find out another show that shows you a live damn level 2 right now. Bang. There goes Upstart to the downside. Upstart is taking lower, lower, lower. It's Upstart, and they're making that move. $26. Ciao, Upstart. We should clip this part, by the way, because ain't nobody showing you this. That is for damn sure. It is Upstart. It is a downside move for UPST. This is what it looks like on the chart. Down to 25 and change. Upstart, where will it stop? Nobody knows, but you're going to have to find out somewhere else. Thank you so much for watching. Traders, stay late. I got to thank my good friend, Brian Shannon. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Go grab his book. It's Maximum Trading Gains with an Anchored VWAP. Soon I'll be holding 2 books, his and mine. Got to support them both. Let's go. It's Trader TV Live. I'm Sean Katina. Thank you so much. Please go follow me everywhere on Instagram at Trader TV Sean. I'm not only putting in work here, we're putting in work after the show. Tweeting out cool things, putting stuff on Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn. Have a great evening. Be kind to your dentist, and hopefully mine is kind to me. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Ciao.